Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Bonne Terre, Missouri, when a couple disappears from their farm, it sends the whole area scrambling for answers, and they end up not liking what they find. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week. We are excited. We have a crazy episode this week.
Again.
We've the last few. It's been a wild year so far, I would say. A wild 2019 for us here, and it continues today. And this was like, I had a choice of a few different ones. And the case next week, I had to do a little extra research, so that's going to be next week.
Okay.
It's a case down in Georgia. So we're going to stay in the Midwest this week. We're going to hang out in there, a little holding pattern from Ohio last week. But never mind all that, but we'll get to do a little house cleaning first. Thank you, folks, so much for everything this week. Your reviews, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever, the purple icon. We appreciate the shit out of all of those. Thank you. They are so helpful. They help drive us up the charts. So thank you for everyone that's done that. And on every platform, if you listen on any platform, rate and review and whatever. Just give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter. Also, you can go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
There you go.
That's a big thing to do. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com where you can get, first of all of your merchandise, all of your t-shirts, everything like that. Also, ringtones should be up up as you're listening to this. We're starting out. Don't send tweets saying, we want this one, we want that. Yes, we get it. We're going to release a couple a week or that sort of thing. Every couple weeks. It's just the theme songs right now. So Crime and Sports theme song, Small Town Murder theme song. Those are going to be up. There'll be a link to them somewhere on the website. So go there. And also, more importantly, just announced just now,
yes,
April the 14th in Nashville at Zanies, we are doing a live Small Town Murder that evening. It is to close out the Nashville Comedy Festival. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Be there for that. And I can't express more seriously. Get your tickets right now if you intend to go to the show.
Yeah, press pause.
You can't wait because we announced it on social media and about half the room sold out.
Right.
So we're expecting, obviously announcing on the show, it's a small club.
Should be over.
It should be sold out probably by the end of the weekend if you're listening to this. So I don't know. So get on it quick. Come to Nashville. Come see us. It's going to be a blast. It's a great club.
Sure.
And everything like that. If you want to be an even bigger hero to the show, you can follow right on the website there. You can follow the links over to patreon.com/crimeinsports and you can make a donation there, become one of our producers who we talk about at the end of the show so glowingly. Or you can go over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. If you're wondering what's Crime in Sports, it's a show you should listen to.
You've blown it.
You have blown it if you are not listening.
What question is that?
It's amazing. Crime in Sports is great. Please listen to Crime in Sports. It's our other podcast. You do not have to like sports. I cannot express to you enough. Listen to this week's episode, the one from Chris Washburn. There's not a lot of sports. It's a good introduction to the whole thing. So check that out. So anyway, that's a good place to start on Crime in Sports. And with that said, we have to do the disclaimer, obviously. This is a comedy podcast.
It is.
It's a comedy show. We're comedians. Therefore, that's why it's a comedy podcast.
Right.
All the facts are real. Everything like that. The cases are real. Everything is real. The only thing is we're going to make some jokes. That's all there is to it. It's going to happen. We're going to make jokes about small towns and police forces and murderers or whoever's stupid in the story. We're going to probably call that out, basically, and make fun of that sort of thing. But what we don't make fun of, what we go out of our way not to make fun of, is the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
That is the truth.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
If that sounds good to you, awesome. You're in the car. Put it that way. You're in the car. We're on the way to the liquor store.
Child safety locks are on.
We're going to rob that liquor store. So you're involved at this point. If somebody accidentally squeezes the trigger and should spray the small Korean woman's brains all over the plastic vodka bottles and the Marlboros behind the counter, you're going to be just as responsible.
There'll be some in your mouth, too.
That's all there is to it. Things can happen. So with that said, I love how we give this disclaimer like we have horrible shit always, and all we're doing is saying we might make a joke about something that doesn't matter once in a while. So so with that said, that sounds good to you, awesome. If you think true crime and comedy never ever go together, this isn't the show for you.
No, it's not.
I think you should probably take a hike. So for the rest of you, though, you should scream out your car windows from the rooftops, everywhere from your cubicle. If you're in a conservative office, go into the bathroom, say quietly into your arm or something, say, shut up and give me murder. Let's do it, Jimmy. Let's go on a trip.
I would love that.
What do you say? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of Ohio.
It's too goddamn cold in Ohio.
Logan, Ohio last week. We're not going very far, though, unfortunately. No. Next week, we're going to head down south, but we're going to stay kind of in the Midwestern area. We're going to go to Missouri this week.
That's Midwest,
That's
right?
Midwest, kind of bordering on.
That's what Nelly said.
Yeah.
That's how I know that.
Yeah, it's the Midwest. If I would say that's Midwest, is Missouri and Illinois. That's right in the middle there.
Anything south of Missouri, probably not.
That's the south. Well, south of Missouri, you're talking about.
That
you're
is
getting
super
into,
south, right?
That's the south. Yeah, you're getting like Louisiana and
the
Texas.
The state
and
line
shit
of
like
Missouri is the south.
That's south's that way, boy.
That's Missouri
Get over
going
there.
We're not a part
Everybody,
of this shit.
Listen now. State line. Listen here now. I'm going to tell you something, boy. Now listen. And by boy, he's talking to other white people. He just calls everybody boy. That's the thing, too. Those people down in certain areas.
That's Missouri just washing their hands of that shit in the South. It's like, we are Midwest.
Well,
ask Nelly. He'll tell all he is. We do a swing around here.
Missouri is a lot like Illinois, too, where it's way different. There's cities and then there's country, and it's from the north to the south are vastly different. From the east to the west of the state are vastly different from each other. It's pretty weird. But
so they're trying to be country, but at the same time be Midwesterns,
I suppose. Well, this is in Bonne Terre, Missouri. Okay. Now, how do you think that's spelled, Jimmy?
Bontaire.
No, it's not.
No.
It is spelled Bonne.
Yeah.
Second word, Terre.
That's not Bonne Terre?
It's not Bonne Terre. That is Bonne Terre. Originally, it was Bonne Terre when it was named by the French, but they just call it Bonne Terre.
Yeah, that is
going down to Bonne Terre. But no, that's not how you pronounce that.
You're no longer Midwesterners. Missouri. That is as south as it gets.
Well, this place actually is. It's southeastern.
Fuck the French and just running how you want to say shit.
Yeah, they're not going to keep the pronunciation. This is in southeastern Missouri. Okay. It's down there. This isn't up toward the Illinois area. This is down there. It's dangerously close to the little panhandle that kind of comes out of Missouri. This county alone has 3 panhandles.
No kidding.
So I'm fucking worried.
Yeah.
This episode itself is all panhandle.
Great.
So there's that. It's about an hour to St. Louis up there. It's about 4.5 hours to Indianapolis, and also about 4.5 hours to Mooresville, which was episode 66.
Got it.
Which was the old couple who murdered drifters, which was a fucking awesome episode.
That's right.
That was a great episode. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Buried him like underneath a haystack.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, they had them stacked up like cordwood in the goddamn barn. Yeah, that was listen to that episode if you haven't. That's an awesome episode. It's funny too. There's an older couple and a farm involved in this episode too. Every time we go to Missouri, it's a farm remember the first Missouri episode we did was, I think, Canton. We did it for a live show in Chicago, and it was the one where the guy tried to escape the murder scene on a tractor. So Missouri, you're interesting. Let's just say that.
I like that Panhandle has gotten, it's really engraved and engrossed in our audience.
Oh yeah.
There was a couple it was a couple or kids. No, it was somebody. Oh, that's what it was. It was a dad and his daughter killed the mom and then blamed it on a panhandler. Which
in Baltimore. I followed that story from the beginning too.
But like a panhandler that holds a cup and asks for money.
The word panhandle.
It sounds like somebody from the Panhandle of Florida.
I would say so. Making that story up is panhandle behavior, big time.
So you should call our audience the panhandlers.
They caught the father and daughter trying to make a run for it down by the Mexican border in Texas, which is
great.
Amazing. This place is in St. Francis County.
Okay.
The area code here is 573. It's 4 square miles, this town. The motto here is, quote, good earth, good people.
Oh, boy.
I don't even have a joke one. That's just, no.
Good earth. Good people, but
good God, let's eat. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, it sounds like the start of a prayer.
Yeah, it's a start of a shitty joke prayer for someone very lazy but mildly religious.
But it's also like kind of like apologizing for almost apologizing for slavery. We got good earth. These was good people.
Good earth, good people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's the Missouri Compromise. Yeah, Missouri's got a lot of history with fighting over that kind of shit.
Okay.
So not here though. Here, they have one focus they had since the beginning of time in this place. Well, not since the beginning of time, but since the French got here.
Great.
And that is mining. Oh, baby, are they into fucking mining?
They dig it, huh?
Oh, they dig it and then they pull it right out of the fucking ground.
Did you get that?
Unfortunately, I did. Yeah, it was pretty weak. So, it's settled in 1720 by the French after lead ore was discovered there.
Oh.
So that'll bring people in.
Also mild health problems?
Issues. And that's the thing here. Any behavior that stems from this area is all going to be based on, it's got to be in the water supply. There's so much fucking lead here. We'll talk about it. It was called La Bonne Terre, which is the good soil in French. Okay. So they've taken that and called it Bonne Terre. Just completely ruined what they were going for.
It's also a little close to lobotomy.
Yeah. Well, the mines here were inherited by a guy named Anthony LaGrave. Now, there was no settled, they had no permanent structure homes here. They didn't have neighborhoods or anything like that where they kind of built like a normal town is. Yeah. There's some stuff and then people build houses and put down roots, sort of thing. Here, they basically, for years and years and years, it was just miners living in a collection of huts and tents. Just makeshift. It was just a shanty town.
It's a mining camp
of miners. Yeah, but even in Deadwood, they built fucking houses. You wouldn't know because you watched the goddamn show, but they built houses. God damn it! They had a hotel that people stayed in. No, everyone didn't just go, all right, I'm done drinking, take their last shot of whiskey, and then go out in a tent in the fucking woods. That's what happened here, though. They didn't care. So, remember Seth Bullock building the house? No, you don't.
No.
Of course
I don't even know who he is.
Damn it. So, This whole arrangement with the huts and the tents lasted until after the Civil War, and then once the Civil War was over, then everything kind of started to settle down a little bit, and people started to settle in, build a house.
Were they worried that maybe they were going to come through with that scorched earth policy?
I mean, yeah, but it was like that.
Why build it if they're just going to burn it?
True, it was like that for 100 years though. Before that, it was just
a problem.
Yeah, it was.
That's disgusting.
It was just imagine the shit rivers flowing from the camps in this of minor shit too, like whiskey,
hard living,
eating hardtack and drinking whiskey and shitting that out into the public. Good Lord,
that's the canned food.
No good, man. No good. They just came out with canned peaches.
Oh,
they tasty. Now Bonne Terre finally was platted as a town in 1880, and the county it's in, St. Francis County, is located in what is known as, and this is not like just a little nickname. It's got its own like Wikipedia link of this. It's known as the Lead Belt region. That sounds worse than the Rust Belt.
It does,
which technically would be worse because that's deteriorated metal, but. Still, the Lead Belt sounds terrible.
That's like it sounds like the thing that the dentist puts on you so your balls don't get nuked when they check your teeth.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, it's second only to the Bible Belt as like the least desirable belt for me to live in. It goes rust is number 3, lead at number 2, and number 1 with a bullet for the 4 million straight week. Bible Belt.
Tell him, deep voice Casey.
Yeah, really. Why'd I do that?
That was awesome.
There's no point in that. I should have got up high.
All right.
So, it's in Missouri, the Lead Belt here. Okay. It is the Southeast Missouri Lead District. This is depressing.
How long is that belt? How long does that fucker stretch?
I don't know, but I'm so depressed right now. It's through this whole county and kind of the whole Southeast. It's counties in the Lead Belt, several counties, St. Francis, Crawford, Dent, Iron County, big shock there, Madison, Reynolds, and Washington County all encompass the Lead Belt. So it's like the whole Southeast region of the state, which sounds awful. It started in 1720, like we said, with the French miners. They started this. It started with a big exploratory mission in 1719. They found lead, and then they came back. They founded the town of St. Genevieve as a river port to transport lead out of the area. So this is all lead, man. The lead was originally used as roofing material until everybody killed each other and died. And then they said, well, I wonder what the fuck's going on.
Is that really what happened?
Okay. They did use it as roofing material. That's true. They had large subterranean mines, so God knows what's going on under the town. There's probably shit falling in.
Horrible things.
Yeah, which is now, we'll talk about this, is now commercially used for recreational scuba diving. The mines now.
It's flooded?
They flooded them out. We'll talk about it. They had a long, active lead, like surface lead miners camp, and then they went under too. It was a bunch of companies, the St. Joe Lead and the Deslodge Lead Company there. They're all these big companies. The St. Joe Company, I guess, had a hard time the first few years, and then they brought a different kind of drill into the area, and they went deeper underground, and then they found
more iron.
Pay dirt, yeah. Miners then, I guess, could work all year round for the first time, because before it was in the bad weather, they couldn't work on the surface. But now they're, fuck it, you're underground.
Fuck the forecast. I don't care.
It's always cloudy underground.
It's always black down here.
Yeah, they followed the lead ore as it took them 20 to 40 miles south and north, also in different directions, and depths of 500 to 1,200 feet.
Wow.
1,200 feet below the surface is insanity.
Looking for lead.
Holy shit. If it's down that far, you know what? I mean,
it doesn't want to be found.
It does not want to be found.
It's hiding.
You hit it well enough, and none of us should look for it, I feel like, at that point.
I'm trying to figure out what they use that for in nails.
Yeah.
I'm
sure. Well,
got it.
Think about it this way.
What is hard in a roof?
Yeah, well, yeah. No, they used the lead as the roofing.
Get out of
here. Like instead of a tin roof, they had lead roofs. They had a shitload of lead. Why not?
Is that right? right?
it for in
like
that
a
area.
Sheet of lead.
Yeah, they'd have lead sheets which seems heavy for a roof.
The kids out there when the rain runs off, they got their mouth open,
their tongues out, catching it. Jesus
Golly.
Christ, man! 1,200 feet below if they're okay. I'm not sure. I'm not debating this either way. But if a god started this whole thing and he went, we want to have lead in the ground. And I don't want anybody to find it and take it out. How deep should I 1,200? No one's going to go that far, right? 1,200 feet. Like who the fuck would dig that far for? They don't even know if it's down there. 1,200 feet's fine.
He was probably like, this shit is dangerous. I need to put it real fucking low.
These hillbillies are going to find anything that's bad for them. So as these companies grew, the city grew. It was known as a company town, which back then, these mining towns that were company towns, these guys, they got paid in company script. They only could buy things from the company store with their company money, and they just were basically indentured servants that didn't have a time frame.
They probably assumed this was brilliant on their, like the employees. They're probably like, this is great. This is so
we get houses and we get everything, but you just don't get any money and you can never leave. Kind of like a prostitute, basically. Like you're kind of like a voluntary prostitute.
It's the original Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
And you're just giving it right back to the company.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It was weird too. They didn't, in most company towns, they would build rows of houses. Yeah. Like in New York, even, I remember there's places where there was like factories back in the day where they had like these row houses where all the employees of the factory lived. Like my grandfather, when he was a kid, lived in one of these like factory row houses that they're all shitty and whatever. But I mean, that's back in the day. It was fine. These were fucking immigrants. I mean, his father was an immigrant, so that's why.
Better here than there.
That's what I mean. That's why he lived there. It was better than Mussolini at the time, so it was fine. Literally came here in the 20s, and that's what happened. So
got a job in a company else. I'm doing great.
Holy shit! And there's no fascists. This is wonderful. The fascists aren't in charge anyway. So instead, the company would lease a lot to these people, and they would allow the miners to build the type of home that they wanted. Yeah. So you could build whatever you want. So there's no uniformity to anything.
That's awesome.
That people just built, well, we want, and they were from different places. These miners, a lot of them were from overseas.
Great.
So it was a lot of weird different architecture.
Cool.
There was a lot of, I guess, English architecture there because one of the company owners was a fan of it. So there was a lot of Tudor style buildings and all that sort of thing that are still there, actually. They say it's like kind of like an English square with Tudor style buildings, which is kind of cool. The Bonne Terre mine operated from the 1800s all the way to 1960, when it was finally abandoned, and the pumps that kept spring water out of the caves, because when you dig deep, fucking waterfall flows into there, because guess what, there's water under there,
and there's also gravity.
Yeah, exactly. Things happen. They had pumps that kept the water out, so the miners didn't flood and die. They turned those off in 1960, and it flooded with water. So it filled with an estimated 1 billion gallons of water.
Wow.
And has 26 miles of navigable coastline down there.
No kidding.
Underground,
26 miles?
26 miles of coastline. Because there's this giant mine that they did for 100 and something years. So they kept building and digging and going deeper and farther. And now it's a giant, like a sea down there, basically.
Somebody tell those Asian kids that got lost that there's a much better place.
Oh, this place would be this is like the last scene in the Goonies before they pop out. This is where the pirate ship was.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing looks like.
Incredible.
Pretty much. It's fucking amazing. It really is pretty cool to look at. Since 2005, Missouri has conducted all of its executions in Bonne Terre at the Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center in Bonne Terre.
Since when?
Since 2005. So this is Death City for Missouri is exactly what this is.
That's awesome.
Death City, Missouri. It's crazy. So there's a lot of historic buildings. The Bonne Terre Depot, the Bonne Terre Mine, St. Joe Lead Company Administration Building are all on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1890, there was 3,700 people here. And today, there is 7,138 people here.
Not really booming.
So not really booming. We'll talk about it, though. Their population's up 77% since 1990. Okay. So people have moved here a lot. And I don't know if maybe the death house moving here would.
It's kind of cool.
People would come. And plus there's more employees then, and
And they stopped with the lead.
They stopped with the lead, so people are living longer and not murdering each other as much. I have a resident review quickly before we do the stats here. Resident review, this is a 2-star review. Quote, there is a very diverse population and nobody is afraid to make their opinions known. There are very few strangers. You mostly see the same faces throughout town. Most are friendly and will make an interest in you. Which doesn't sound right.
No.
Make an interest in you. It sounds like they're going to shit on you. Or something else worse.
Something horrible.
Something horrible in you.
For you, that's just them saying hello. But
I make an interest on you. I make interest in you.
That sounds like
inside of you, I make my interest.
That sounds like somebody whose English is their second language.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's brilliant.
I make inside you. No. Why? Why I no make inside you?
That is horrific.
Jeez, the shawarma man comes.
It's a very southern way of saying that they want to talk to you. But
totally.
It sounds terrible.
It's fucking hilarious. So median age here is 32.9.
Oh,
so young. That's 5 years younger than normal. Male and female population. The male population 66%, which is it's usually like 51% female. So we've never seen anything this out of whack unless there was like 200 people in the town.
And with almost 10,000 people here, there's
7,000 people. That's still a pretty good sample size to where that's way out of whack.
I thought it was 9.
The 20
My listening skills really dropped off right there.
They really fell apart. The 25 to 44-year-old demographic is way high, and everything else is low. Everything else is under the average. But 25 to 44-year-olds, way more than normal. Married population, usually 50-50. Here it's 33%. Single with no children, though, usually it's 10%. Here it is 2.31%. So there's a lot of single people with children. So it's not a lot of, I guess, marrying happening here, but a lot of kid having. So that's a problem. Race of this town, or is it? Or is it just hot? Race of this town is about 76% white, 20% black.
All right.
That's a pretty high for small town. That's not bad for what we covered. It's usually 2%, so good for you. 0.42% Asian. We'll take some blacks, but keep them damn Asians out of here. The mines are closed. Understand? Tell the Asians the mines are closed. They ain't welcome no more. We flooded them all. You can't come in. It's fucking
Jesus
unreal. So yeah, there's that. 0.63% Hispanic. So it's black and white. That's it. There's nobody else here. Religion in this town, it's usually 50-50 here. 44.7. So 45% of the people here are religious. The majority of the religious people, 21% of them, or the plurality, I guess it would be, would be are Baptist.
All right.
This is South, and as we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the South. So, there's also almost 5% Catholic down there, some Pentecostal, some fire and brimstone people here.
A little bit of scary on Sunday.
Oh. You got to be scared to watch the afternoon football game properly. Gotta go home scared.
You want to watch them Chiefs? Let me scare the living shit out of you first.
Then go home. That's why they're such a good crowd. They're petrified. They're so happy to be alive and out of church and not being smited by an angry God. That's why they're known as a good crowd down there. 1.3% Mormon. So they're coming.
There's a few.
They came in through the mines and came on up from there. 0.0% Jewish, 0.0% Muslim. They're like, you can't even pronounce this shit right. No, thank you. 25% of the people here voted Democrat in the last election for president, and 70% Republican here. So, it's kind of conservative area, as it's a small kind of farming, mining, ex-mining town.
And they can fuck off with the Midwestern shit. This is the South.
This is the South. Yeah, it's way down in the South, too.
So much South.
Oh, and everything we'll talk about, too. This is a Southern area, definitely. Unemployment rate here, you're going to see some Confederate flags, I feel like, around this area. Unemployment rate, 3.8%, which is kind of right on the money of national average at the moment. Median household income in the country, it's $57,000 right now. They just reconfigured these. Here, it is $50,654.
So, okay.
So
close.
Pretty close. A lot of the jobs are, there's construction jobs, kind of more than normal, but less manufacturing jobs than normal. 20% of the jobs here are retail trade because it's a tourist spot because of this giant mine.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of this whole thing.
And little keychain electric chairs.
Little keychain electric chairs. Come on and see the death house. It's or actually lethal injection.
Right.
Little keychain syringes. That's why. What's in it? We don't know. Just don't taste it. So yeah.
Wait, this is it's real. Don't touch
real
that.
shit. What are you talking about? Also, healthcare, social assistance, that sort of thing. I don't know if that has something to do with the prison or what, but those are a lot of the jobs here. Public administration, also a big time job for this place. Cost of living, 100 being average, regular, normal. Here, cost of living is 81.
That's not bad.
Under 100. Not too bad. And everything is pretty close to normal except for housing, which is at 50 out of 100. So, median home cost here, $97,400.
That is cheap.
That's pretty cheap. That's very cheap. Most of the houses that I'm looking at here, over 50% are under $100,000 in worth and value. So that's a lot. I see there's really not any houses over $500,000 in this area, really. Not at all. In value, anyway. And if we've convinced you,
oh boy,
where else could you go but Bonne Terre, Missouri? We have for you the Bonne Terre, Missouri Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental in this place in Bonne Terre is $810.
Yeah.
It's normally about $1,200, so it's a little bit under, but still not enough, I feel like, because you could get
to warrant buying instead of buying. Right? Unless your credit's completely fucked.
That's what I feel like that is. I found a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,511 square foot house. It needs some work. I'm not going to lie to you. So it's definitely not updated or anything like that, but $57,500.
That's pretty decent.
You can make it work with that. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, nicer house, been updated. Everything's nice. You don't have to fumigate the whole thing first. 1,360 square feet, $139,900 for that. Not bad at all. Then I found this one house, 4-bedroom, 4-bath. It's like 2-story brick, really nice house. Beautiful. 3,032 square feet, $369,900.
That seems like a deal.
Which is pretty reasonable if it wasn't in Bonne Terre, Missouri.
I mean, if you have to be there.
If you have to.
And you got some cash.
That's the thing, too. Yeah. Things to do here is the number one and pretty much only is the Bonne Terre mine. Their big, what they're touting is, quote, become a deep earth explorer. That sounds...
A deep earther?
I don't want to be a flat earther, a deep earther.
No.
I don't want to explore shit.
No.
They say it's one of America's top 10 greatest adventures, according to National Geographic magazine.
What?
That's what they're touting. Top 10
Really?
greatest adventures. One of the world's largest man-made caverns, founded in 1860, is one of history's earliest deep earth lead mines. The world's largest producer of lead ore until it closed. The mine has 5 levels. They talk about where, the levels are and what they do. They said the mine is a constant 65 degrees, never affected by weather. There's all sorts of different levels, and they have boat tours, 500,000 watts of stadium lighting above the water's surface, views of the abandoned shafts and equipment below. It's also home to the largest freshwater scuba diving venue in the world.
With all that said... Yeah,
that's
pretty
cool.
I think I'd like to. How do you get a boat down there?
Who the hell know? You could build it down there. They got mining equipment down there.
Suppose.
You got to be able to get a boat down there.
I'd like to see this.
Also, the Space Museum is there. It's a little space museum. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Shouldn't that be in Florida or Texas?
Yeah, but some astronaut was they have a flag that some astronaut had from, it's a long story. They built a museum
Get your
around
shit
it.
together, Houston.
Come on. Get it together, guys. Crime rate, what we're interested in here. Property crime is about 25% under the average. So it's pretty safe to leave your windows open in your car, maybe, if it's just for a couple of minutes. But violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, don't forget that one. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about 20% higher than the national average. So, which kind of makes sense when you have a 66% male population.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get a few more
volatile.
Yeah, a few more assaults and things like that. It's just more dudes, more punching, I would say.
More dudes, more problems.
More,
it's
well,
worse
especially
than
with
money.
with assaulting and violence and shit like that.
Well, anytime they drink, anytime you get a bunch of people together and there's alcohol involved, there's always two dudes that pop off.
Especially if it's just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Right, and the majority dudes, which is every goddamn bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's not enough women, ideally you want to have a 50-50 ratio of women and men, and that way dudes are trying not to be dicks because they actually think maybe they can hook up with one of these chicks because there's enough of them.
Right.
So even the guys...
Just enough. It's right down the middle.
Yeah, even the guys who know that women don't like them, they're like, if I'm not a complete asshole, I might be able to pull something out of this because there is a lot of women here. Like, this is not bad. I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
You know? Let's talk about a murder.
Oh boy.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Do it. Let's talk about a couple of murders here, some interesting murder action. Let's talk first about a couple named Charles and Grace Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in the 90s. We're going to go back to the 90s for a second when this takes place here. They're a nice older couple, 67 and 62 years old. Charles is the older one. Grace is his wife. Grace has really bad arthritis. She has her hands are. Everybody said they're like, they're really like claws, basically. She's all, real bad arthritis. So she has health problems resulting from her arthritis. Charles is in good health. He's kind of a heavy set, kind of jovial older guy. He likes to dick around on the farm. He's got some cattle there and shit like that. He's, there's not a big deal. This farm isn't their source of income or anything like that. Grace's family left the farm to her. It belonged to Grace's family, and they we'll talk about it, but they just kind of went there on the weekends, and then they ended up retiring there eventually. So
wouldn't that be great?
They're just kind of I'd hate it. It's filthy and stinky, and
it's kind of cool to just have like a farm or a ranch that you just go to on the weekends. Play cowboy and go the fuck back home.
Is there Uber Eats there?
Probably.
I like delivery stuff. I really like delivery. I like to do that a lot. I'm very I need. Very lazy, Jimmy.
You need help.
I need help. I need things. I'm willing to pay for it, but I need it. I can't just sit in the middle of
I'll chip you
nowhere.
off a sawbuck. Just don't make me make shit.
That's the thing. I like to cook, but I'm not going to like kill the cow to get the meat to cook it. I'm not. I mean, yeah, it's great. I'll eat it, but fuck, man, that's a lot of work.
I think the biggest animal that I might kill to eat would be a chicken. I think up above that, nope, can't do it.
I'm not a big.
I don't know that I could kill a. I don't know that I could kill a deer,
dude.
That a deer alone is just, they're adorable. I don't think I could do it.
My grandmother tells these stories about in Italy. They have. Every family, I guess, would like over the course of the year, a family you'd have a goat that you'd raise for a year, okay, and then you would kill the goat, and it would be a big thing. Each family but they would stagger them, so everybody would kill their goat at a different time, so everybody didn't kill their goats at once, and then whatever family would give. They would share everything with their goat, and then the next month, and then the next family would kill their goat and share all of their goat shit with other people. Which I don't know. Everybody had goat all the time, but they talk about it's like the pet goat, and we love the goat, and we raise it for a year, and then we cut its throat, and we rip it apart, and everybody's happy, and we have a party. And I'm like, whoa.
But is it like does everybody participate in the murder of the goat?
Oh, it's a fucking event.
Like little Tommy comes out there and stabs
it's a ceremony. It's a ceremony. They all do because they take it apart. I mean, they take the fucking intestines out and they do shit with that, and they use the whole thing. We're talking, literally fascist Italy in the 30s, like in Abruzzi in the hills and shit.
I couldn't do that.
It's a brutal lifestyle.
And I love goats. They're so cute.
They're pretty adorable.
I want to hug them all the time. Every time I see, you can pick them up so easy. They're so light.
They fucking reek, though. I can't do it. That's why I said I won't eat anything that comes out of a goat. Cheese or milk, or if you smell the goat, you won't eat anything that comes out of the inside of it.
There is
might be where that smell's coming from.
An insult of a goat's ass, isn't there? There's something about a goat's ass.
It should be.
There's goat fucker. There's all kinds of horrible insults, and it's because a goat is not typically a clean animal.
It's known as a filthy kind of dickish animal.
Yeah. But I love them.
But they're cool as shit. So now Grace here. Grace was born in Missouri in 1931. She's lived in Missouri pretty much her whole life here. She is a member of the Methodist Church in town. There, she does a little bit of preaching at the church. Okay. Nothing crazy. She's kind of like she'll fill in. She'll tell you the word. She'll say it down. She knows how to say grace.
She knows all of them.
All of it down there. Now, Charles here, Charles Lewis, her husband, he is Charles Lewis III.
Oh, boy.
Here. He is also a member of the church. He is a lay minister at the Cedar Fork Methodist Church.
Layman?
Lay minister? He's not licensed, I guess, maybe.
That's probably what that means.
Or not, whatever the fuck. He's just kind of...
Not exactly the one, but he'll do.
He's just an annoying guy who tells you shit that you didn't ask him to tell you.
He's an annoying guy that knows the shit out of the Bible.
Like, great, here he comes again. Are you? I'm just a lay preacher. Oh, thanks. Continue then. I thought, wow.
Are you going to pass the test or not? That's what happened.
At least if preacher is your occupation, people know what's coming at them when you see you coming. This guy, they're like, hey, it's Charles. How's it going? How's everything on the farm? And he's like, not bad. I mean, according to Ezekiel 25, like, huh? Where the fuck did that come from, Charles? Thought we were just having a good time.
I'd like you to know that I am a lay preacher.
I'm a lay preacher. Now that's he's also a member of the NRA.
Of course.
Of course he is, and a lay preacher. He's a veteran of World War II.
Oh, he's a goddamn hero.
He was in the Navy. My grandfather was in the Navy in World War II. Good for him. He's a goddamn. He fought Hitler, for Christ's sake. Well, he was in the Navy, so he probably fought the Japanese. But either way,
he got guys that fought him.
Yeah,
he got him there.
There was guys in Europe in the Navy too, but
he gave him a ride there.
He gave him a ride there, and who knows what the hell he did? But
he gave all the heroes a ride there.
He helped load bombs that shot at shores of places, I'm sure. Did lots of other stuff. People are going to say, in World War II, we get it. The Navy did a lot of shit, and he did a bunch too. Good for him. They have 3 sons and 2 daughters, so they end up having a nice family, 5 kids. They're married in the 1950s and have 5 kids, and they're in the Midwest there. So it's a very kind of black and white sitcom, 50s type of thing, Leave It to Beaver situation going on here.
Very stereotypical.
Yeah. The couple, once Grace ended up inheriting the farm, they would use it for weekend getaways for about 20 years. They'd go out there there to the weekend to the farm and that sort of shit. And then finally, Charles in 1985, he retires. They were living outside of St. Louis, and Charles retires from an accounting firm that he worked at in St. Louis there in 1985, and they moved to the farm. So their weekend retreat has become their life. They're very happy on the farm.
Yeah.
Everybody likes them. They're known as the nicest people in the world.
Sure.
They're very, very sweet. The neighbors talk about how Grace, who would come over with her, arthritis and having a hard time walking, would show up at their doors with jars of green beans that they just jarred from their farm, just as, given to their neighbors. Yeah. They said she could barely walk, but she was coming to give you things, and very, very nice. Everybody liked Charles too, regardless of his lay preaching. They still said he was a very nice guy and helped people out, and was a really, really good dude that everybody liked. And then so they lived there from 1985 on the farm until September of 1993, when they disappear into thin air. Can't find them.
Was this around the time that the Missouri flooded?
They were taken away in one of their many. Missouri floods basically 18 times a year. So yes is my answer to that.
There was that big flood though, where like the arch, like 30 feet up was waterlogged
in the 90s. Yeah, that was a huge one. It was around this time. It probably, I think it was 94 possibly.
Was it then? I was thinking
somewhere
92,
around there.
It doesn't matter.
It might be 92. Somewhere 92 to 94 was a giant flood, but not affected this area. But they disappear. I mean, where the fuck are they? In the mines? Where'd they go?
Maybe he went to take the test.
He went to take the test. He's like,
I'm done telling people I'm a lay preacher. I want to drop those 3 letters. Just be a goddamn preacher.
I want people to run out of the room when they see me coming. I feel bad sneaking up on them like I am now. I want them to go, oh shit, the preacher's coming.
There
run.
He is.
Shit, he never shuts up. So they just disappear into thin air. Not like them at all. They're reliable. They have a farm, for Christ's sake.
They're retired.
Yeah, they're retired. Animals need to be fed and shit like that. Like, they have things to do. Responsibility. Plus, they don't do that. They are very entwined in the community. They both are active in the church. They have a big family with 5 kids and also neighbors that they talk to. They don't disappear.
They're reliable.
If they're going away for a weekend, the entire town knows that they're going away for a fucking weekend.
They've been talking about it for 2 goddamn months.
The Lewises are gone this weekend, in case you didn't know, and that's what they're discussing at the gas station in town. The Lewises went out of town. Did they? That's right. I heard about that.
His neighbors wake up and celebrate. Today is the Lewis's first day of vacation.
Unbelievable. Isn't that wonderful? They have a little parade.
They see him off, and everybody in town waves. Bye, lay preacher.
So bye, lay. They put a banner down in the mine so everybody knows. I want everyone to know. So they disappear, and obviously people are concerned. Police talk to the family because it's their daughter who contacts the police. She said she was speaking to Grace on the phone on September 21st, 1993.
That's mom.
That is mom. She's speaking to her mom on the phone. And this woman said, her daughter, said that Grace abruptly ended the call, but not in a panic or anything like that. She said, I have to go. I think I just heard gunshots. I'm going to go look and see what's going on. And she casually hung up the phone. Now, it sounds, for me and you, we're like,
fucking crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. This is like a rural area, a ranch and a farm, and the property is also a very popular hunting ground.
Got it.
And it's the beginning of the fall.
Okay.
So this is deer hunting, going into deer hunting season, and it is not abnormal to hear gunshots everywhere around here. Just hunters.
That is horrible.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Every time you're in your yard, you might just get hit by a stray bullet.
This is a man that was in the war. How does he not just like duck and cover every goddamn day?
He doesn't have PTSD. He's got just like, I got used to it.
Fuck it.
Sometimes, you know how it is. Sometimes bullets whiz by your head and they hit you.
You know?
So just takes it as it comes. So this was not normal. It was normal. I mean, so it wasn't a big deal. No, it wasn't like, oh my God, mom said there was gunshots. I'm going to call the SWAT team. It was just like, oh, okay, I'll see you later, mom. Go check that out. It's so weird too. You have to either be in like a really shitty inner city place or the middle of nowhere to be used to gunshots. You either have to be in the woods or in the middle of the fucking projects to be used to gunshots and they have not bother you.
In a booming metropolis or that does not describe anything you've ever seen.
It's so fucking weird. Right. Those are the only people. Everybody in the middle is concerned by gunfire. At least a little bit. So the next day, so nobody thought anything. Daughter hung up the phone, and that was that. So nothing suspicious. The next night, though, Charles and Grace Lewis are supposed to meet their other daughter in a town called Farmington for dinner, and they never showed up.
Oh.
And this is not at all like them. They will show up. Think about how reliable these people are. He's an accountant that was in World War II, and he runs a farm, and he's a preacher. This is a square son of a bitch.
Yeah, there's a lot of plaid in that closet.
His top is so flat, it's not even funny. Plaid suspenders.
Absolutely.
Plaid button-down shirt with suspenders is what I see this man wearing, just to make sure those pants stay, and a belt.
Yeah. Happy day. It's a nice night. Like, we're going out, we're celebrating. I will put on the bolo tie.
I'm going to put on the bolo. I'll do it.
There's a scorpion on it, yeah.
You know how it goes.
You're damn right
it's my special tie. He dusts it off. Been 14 years since I had this thing.
This is a real scorpion.
It is.
They glazed it and put it in inlay. Inlay is what we call that.
Yeah. Look at the tassels coming off the bottom. They're done in exquisite,
so fast,
handmade fashion.
Can't believe they can do that.
Look on our site, Small Town Murder. It's shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get bolo ties. Or no, you can't get bolo. We're not going to sell bolo ties.
We would sell one.
We'd sell one,
right.
And it would be
a joke.
Ridiculous.
So we would hang it from their rear view.
Somebody would buy it and then send it to us or something weird like that. Thanks. So, the next day, though, like I said, they don't show up. So, their daughter, who was waiting for dinner, drives over to their house to see what happened and found the lights on, good sign, and the back door unlocked. Okay, that's normal for them. So they walk in, can't find Grace or Charles anywhere.
Nowhere.
But they do find the living room telephone has been unplugged, which is strange, but the basement telephone is still plugged in.
Okay.
There is a pot of beans soaking on the stove.
Okay.
They're soaking beans.
Getting ready to boil.
Getting ready to do, So there's a pot of beans soaking on the stove, lights on, back door unlocked. Everything looks normal.
Nobody anywhere.
Except nobody's here and the phone's unplugged.
Right.
So it's a very strange scene. They look around. This is weird. The items that were missing, how they knew this, I have no idea. But the items that were missing were a 6-pack of root beer.
What?
How do you know someone else's soda inventory down to a fucking 6-pack? Who knows? I have no idea what's in my mother's fridge soda-wise. None.
That's like walking into a place and just going, well, here's a bunch of shit that's not here.
Yeah.
I don't know that they ever had it. But you know what else is not here? There is not a backhoe.
I'm not finding a fancy movie-style popcorn machine. That's what I'm not finding. I'd like to see one.
I do not see an oversized football helmet full of cottage cheese.
Not at all. I haven't seen it nowhere. I've seen it nowhere. So they're, so they somehow know. I don't know if my dad always keeps a 6-pack of root beer in a special place or what.
That's an interesting,
very, very strange. Yeah. Also, 2 5-gallon cans of gasoline are gone. That's not there. And the VCR is gone, also, but the TV is there, but the VCR is gone. And several spare keys. Okay. Now, this is 93, by the way. This isn't like 83 when a VCR was $1,200. We're in the $99 VCR era, so this is not a high-end item, is what we're getting at.
For all this child knows, this kid, probably not a child, probably an adult, for all this son or daughter knows about their parents, they may have just gotten rid of that shit because it was obsolete.
Well, 93, there's about $122 worth of shit missing. It's not a huge get.
And none of it together makes any goddamn sense.
No. We're going to pour the root beer into the VCR.
And then put the gasoline inside the VCR, and then we're going to put the keys inside there, and then we have just like nothing.
And if I shake it up,
and you can hear noises.
And then I could possibly watch NASCAR. That's the formula for NASCAR, chemically. That's the chemical compound for NASCAR. A 6-pack of root beer, 2 5-gallon cans of gasoline, an old VCR, and several spare keys.
Well,
NASCAR.
You see, if you pour the root beer and the gasoline into, that's like an additive in the gasoline. You pour that into the VCR, and I don't know which one of these keys will start that VCR.
I'm not positive.
But it will be fast fast as shit.
I'm just seeing the chemical compound with the little things and all that. I want to see that drawn up for NASCAR with those different. Jesus Christ. So, everybody said there was no indication of any problems the day before. People had seen them. They were in town at the grocery store and they went to the pharmacy. People saw them. They were acting completely normal. They didn't say they were going anywhere. They weren't fighting or anything like that. Some neighbors saw them driving home in their car and said they were honking at the people they knew and waving at everybody like normal. This is a nightmare, this town.
Yeah.
To have some old lay preacher fucking honking and waving at me all the time, I would blow my fucking brains out if I had to live here. I cannot be honked and waved at.
Say his first name again. It's Grace and what?
It's Grace and Charles.
Yeah, so old Chuck.
Chuck is...
Grace in the bed. Chuck, you didn't even honk at Billy. Would you honk now?
They do a U-turn and drive back around and honk and wave and then flip another one and come back. So
you didn't see Ted in his front yard. He was watering his petunias.
Ted.
Would you
Jesus
honk the
Christ.
goddamn horn?
Now he thinks you don't like him. Now he's going to call us impolite, and he's never going to put $1 in the collection plate again.
Last time I went over with the pickled green beans, when I dropped him off, his wife said, "Y'all drove by the other day. I didn't hear a single beat.
Not even a beat, not a wave. I didn't see a hand coming out a window. I get it was cold out, but still." My question is, everything they stole, the pot of beans was probably worth half of what they stole. It's probably a lot of beans, I'm thinking. So you should have just taken the beans with them. So the police ended up they end up investigating because this is not normal. All the children are concerned. This isn't just like they would do a silver alert nowadays for this type of thing,
and nobody would pay attention.
And they go, what? Who cares about an old man in an Altima? That sign off.
But what's the next? Where's the accident? Why is this freeway backed up? Stop showing me missing elderly and tell me where how much fucking further am I sitting in this shit?
We've talked about it before too. Every time I see one of those, I'm always like, what if they just don't want to talk to their kids today and they wanted to go fucking to the casino for a day, and next thing you know, the SWAT team's going to come in and drag them away.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm fine.
Old
I'm
Paul's
okay.
sitting in sweatpants in a strip club getting a lap dance, and the sheriff's going to burst in and be like, "Get over here, Ted, Paul, whatever I just said your name is."
I'm an adult and I have my own car. Why am I not allowed to leave without notifying people? What the fuck is going on?
It's the first of the month. I got my SSI.
I was in a war. I was in a fucking war, and I can't just drive where I want, you motherfuckers. So
I want to force a girl for $5 to rub her butt cheeks on my boner.
I was in a war. I've earned that. I've earned that.
And you got your fucking kids calling 911. God damn it.
Jesus Christ. I fought the Nazis and then the Koreans too. Right. And I can't even take a ride to the... No, bullshit. So, police officer here said when they arrived at the farm, which is a 460-acre property.
Wow.
That's big.
That's all. You get lost there.
That's the thing. And the police show up and they go, shit, this is we have to search 460 because the first place you're going to look for them missing people is on their own property. Yeah. Obviously, that's where they're most likely to be. So
holy shit.
They're like, okay, well, search the entire farm first. They found same thing, unlocked door, lights left on. Also in the kitchen is on the table is Grace's purse. Okay. On the table. So there's a VCR gone, phone unplugged, 6-pack of root beer and some spare keys and some gas cans, but her purse is left behind.
That's fascinating.
Inside her purse is $295 in cash and several prescriptions because she's an old woman who's got arthritis and all sorts of pain.
The amount of painkillers in there is crazy.
Painkillers and cash money. Yeah. This is like a drifter's dream purse here. I found it. I hit the jackpot.
That ain't the motive.
No. Well, also they find when looking around the property is they can't find their truck either. There's a truck missing.
Missing, but Grace left her purse.
But there's a purse there. Yeah. Also, it's going to be difficult. We'll talk about this. They're pretty sure the couple didn't leave in the truck. The truck's an 1988 white GMC 4-wheel drive pickup with a camper shell. Okay. All of this is missing. License plate number MJ8763, by the way.
Well done.
Just in case.
It's a nice truck.
It's a nice truck. Not bad. Now, they said that this is a clue that something is awry because Grace is so so arthritic, she cannot climb into this truck.
Okay.
Only Charles uses this truck.
Oh.
So
alone. He never rides with her.
He tools around the farm and shit like that, and then they have another vehicle they use, but she's too arthritic to even get into this truck.
Okay.
So there's no way, everyone's saying there's no way that they climbed in this truck and left voluntarily.
Right.
That's not an issue here. So, that's interesting. Police combed the entire farm on foot.
Yeah.
Just going through the whole farm.
That's so much land.
It's 460 acres. Highway patrol helicopter also searched the area while they did that. They did the whole thing. They were really looking hard. And the police officer, who was the lead guy here, said, quote, "Just to add to our dilemma, torrential rains washed all our hopes to find tire tracks or footprints away, even if there were any. We're really puzzled about this one." Apparently that night, the night after they disappeared, after the gunshots happened, between then and when they missed dinner, it was a torrential rainstorm.
Fuck.
That washed any trace evidence of whatever could possibly be happening away. So they're really, really puzzled. The county sheriff here said again, quote, "One of our problems is we don't have very much to go on. There was hardly any evidence at what we think is the crime scene." So they have no idea. They're just like two old people disappeared into thin air with their truck and their root beer. And we have no idea what the fuck is going on.
With no money and 3 sodas apiece.
Yeah, that's
this is a problem.
And no purse.
Yeah,
and in a truck she can't get into.
Right.
They said they're not even sure what type of crime, if any, is on their hands. They don't know anything. They said they're classifying it as a missing persons case and shrugging their shoulders at this point because they really don't know what's going on. The sheriff then said, quote, "We suspect foul play, but we have very little evidence to back that up. My gut feeling is they've been abducted and removed from the farm." So obviously that's a pretty good gut feeling there, Chief.
Yeah.
Wow. I can see why you're sheriff. Good job. Jesus Christ. Way to deduce.
You've done great work.
Now done
take a break, sir.
Fantastic work, sir. So they're just missing. Truck gone, root beer gone, everything is gone.
Yeah.
They're missing. They keep searching.
Okay.
They search the whole farm. They're not there.
And then fan out from there.
What do you do from there? Yeah, you ask around. Did you see anything happen? Nobody knows.
Nobody saw shit.
Nobody's seen shit. Nobody knows anything. All the neighbors who are up each other's asses and honking and waving at each other, like nobody's seen a fucking thing. They know nothing about this whole thing.
Okay.
6 weeks go by.
Oh my God.
6 weeks go by.
That's too long.
That's a long time. Yeah. Finally, their truck is found.
Where?
Burned. It's completely burned out. It's a man scouting for deer found the pickup truck on a Saturday afternoon out, scouting for deer in a wooded area about 200 yards off Highway T, between Highway A and Route 185 in Washington County, which is about 75 miles southwest of St. Louis. This is about 30 miles northwest of the farmhouse from where the Lewises disappeared. The sheriff here said, quote, "This sheriff's a genius, by the way. He is the master of the obvious, this man. Quote, whoever left the truck here obviously was trying to hide it."
Yeah.
Really? Deep into the woods, fucking burned out a truck. Do you think he was trying to hide it? I thought it was for sale and he was trying to get attention to it. What the fuck are you talking about? Really? Jesus Christ.
I see him getting out of the car, scratching his chin, looking at that truck.
Yeah.
Stood there for like 20 minutes and then
looked at it from all angles, went to the back.
Then his deputy goes, "What do you think?" "I think they're trying to hide it."
I think they were hiding it. And the deputy goes, "Oh, yeah." He nudges the other deputy and he goes, "Sheriff, you know what he's doing."
I thought they was just trying to see shit at night.
We're lucky to be working under a man of this stature. Let's just say we're gonna learn a lot. He's talking again.
Notes, Jackson.
Take notes. Take notes, Jackson. I like that a lot. So, trying to hide it. Apparently, they deduced that an inflammable liquid had been poured inside the cab of the pickup and ignited. I don't know why it's inflammable. Is that flammable?
Shouldn't it be flammable?
It said in the court that it's inflammable. Either way, this was a liquid.
Maybe it was the root beer.
That was the root beer. That's why the root beer is excessively flammable. I don't know if you know that, but it is. It's like gasoline, really. You can do that thing where you spit gasoline out of a torch and blow. You can do that with root beer. Try it. So
that's why you have to put ice cream in it to just cool that
settles
negates,
it.
That cools off that heat.
The dairy.
It really stops the combustion.
Yeah, it's like oil and water. One cuts the other really. So it works. They said that's where it started, though, inside the cab of the pickup. That's where it was lit. The sheriff, in true fashion, has no idea how long the truck has been there and has no idea who put it there, is what he says. So, yeah.
I smelled it, and it still smells like smoke and fire.
I'm going to say it's not drivable. Let's just say that. I think it's totaled. I'm my masters of deduction.
I'm not an insurance evaluator.
I don't work for State Farm.
You are not in good hands here.
If I had to guess, it's burnt, melted. You don't even know it's a truck. I'm going to say it's totaled, probably. Just a thought.
My description of the truck to a crisp.
Go to the daughter. They go to the 5 kids. Good news and bad news. Now, bad news.
Yeah.
I always start the bad news. Bad news is still have no idea where your parents are. It's been 6 weeks. Good news is you can go ahead and file a claim on that truck because it's totaled out. I'm going to go ahead and say. So you're going to get yourself $3-4 grand for that puppy. I'm just saying. Split it amongst yourselves. Do whatever you want.
Jackson just following around
just
taking notes.
3,500.
3-4 grand.
Everything he says, Jackson fucking writes down. Everything. Every word. The macaroni and cheese is good today. Okay. He's wise. You never know when a nugget's going to fall out.
You never know.
Write it all down.
I might use that one later.
Man. So from this area, the sheriff and a team of about 35 other people, including his deputies, Washington County Sheriff's deputies, and volunteers, combed the woods around this area looking for evidence of the Lewises or anybody that would have left the truck here. The truck got here. Maybe they were taken from here and drug out of the truck or whatever. Among the volunteers was 3 of the 5 children of theirs, which was a big deal. One of their daughters said, quote, finding the truck is a start. I guess it limits the search, which not really.
I'm questioning where the fuck are those other 2?
Yeah, where are the parents? That's the other 2. One lives in Texas.
I don't give a shit.
One
Get
lives
on a
in
plane,
South
boy.
Texas. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
We found a truck.
Yeah,
you need some
get up here.
Get up here and bring your Timberlands.
Who knows how arthritic the kids were too? They might have been just overcome. This daughter, Karen, was 22, so she might have been the healthy one here. She says the worst is still not knowing what happened. Their other daughter, Mary, she was the one who was talking on the phone with Grace when she heard the gunshots. She said she's clinging to hope that her parents are still alive. She said, quote, it's a scary hope though, because you wonder if they're suffering if they are alive, especially because Grace's prescriptions are back there. So they're all very worried about that she's gone 6 weeks, seemingly, if she's alive with no medication.
She might just have 2 balls on her wrists at this moment.
She could be in so much pain. And the daughter, Karen, said, quote, you almost hope selfishly that they're in heaven.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is fucking bleak.
That's dark.
That's some dark.
Christ.
That's grim, Karen. That is... Karen,
you've given up. I got news for you.
That's grim, Karen. I'm sorry.
Calm down, Karen.
I feel like they say that to her a lot. I feel like she says shit a lot, and they just go, Jesus, Karen, that's fucking grim, man. That's grim, Karen. Like, come on, man.
Just call her Grim Karen.
Grim Karen. I really feel like that's like all the time. Like, fucking Karen, man.
Hey, Karen, stop with the heaven talk. We haven't even seen a drop of blood yet.
Jesus, they could be fine.
Yeah.
Who knows if they sold this truck to a drifter and then, took the money and went down to the islands for a couple months. We don't know what's going on down here.
Your mom might be out in Key West right now watching news coverage, laughing her arthritic hands off because you're fucking talking like she's dead.
They go, it's Grim Karen again. She's being grim again. Man, you're grim, Karen.
Chuck, the Reaper's on TV again.
Jesus,
come in here.
She is. Their son, Michael Lewis, not the author, I don't say, so not probably the guy who wrote
runner?
Moneyball. He says,
that was
Carl Lewis. Yeah, that's Carl Lewis, not Mike.
Jesus Christ.
That's awesome.
There was a Michael runner too, though, right?
Yeah, Michael.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I just mixed 2 runners together and made a Michael Lewis.
Yeah, you did. At the same time as Carl Lewis, there was another guy too, but he got like busted for all sorts of shit.
Probably
before everybody else did,
right?
Because they all end up getting busted. Yeah. Anybody who does anything well athletically, they're not doing it naturally.
No.
If you break a record, it means that you found something new. You found a new drug to take, because otherwise, that's what people people can do.
They're going to test your blood and figure out what's in there that you're not allowed to have in it.
Fucking Superman? No, get out of here. So Michael, the son, he said, quote, "There's nothing you can put your finger on to explain any of this. There's no reason for them to be kidnapped. They had a large farm, but not that much money, and they weren't even robbed. They had no enemies that I or anyone else know of."
Okay.
So, and then the sheriff again, Mr.
Captain Obvious?
Captain Obvious. He says, just his quote is, "This one is baffling." Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate that.
There was a long pause and lots of chin stroking.
Yeah, he did that, and he looked and he went, "Fire? That happened. It's baffling." Jackson's like, "Fire, ... baffling."
1F or 2F, y'all?
I don't know how you spell that. He says, quote, "There are just too many questions that don't have answers. Why are they missing? If someone came and didn't kill them or hurt them, why take them away from the farm? Someone evidently doesn't want us to find them, and robbery is not the motive." Someone evidently doesn't want us to find them. How did you get that? Where'd you deduce that from? The fact that they're missing for 6 fucking weeks, maybe? Jesus fucking Christ.
That is a man just showing you his card.
Yeah. All the time.
That is a man nudging the player next to him going, you know, which card should I turn in here?
What do you think? What do you think? Should I hit this or what? He's the equivalent of a movie that's just all exposition. Yeah. Just all fucking we did this, and then I did no subtext whatsoever. He's all text, baby.
Holding nothing to the vest that only the killer would. He's just saying, I don't know shit right now.
Imagine the 5 kids gathered while this guy tells them information. Everything he says, they all like shrug and look at each other like, is this fucking guy he's in... Should we hire somebody? How do we do this?
Can we hire a new police chief
FBI
ourselves?
Or what? Could somebody else get involved here? This is fucking insane here. He has been, by the sheriff here, has been in law enforcement for 14 years. And he says this case has given him sleepless nights after 14 years.
14 years and he's the sheriff?
And he's the sheriff.
That should take like 30, shouldn't it?
I don't know if you have a degree in criminal justice, if that drives you up the line, or sometimes I'd probably not hear. In big cities, they like sometimes with a law degree, they like a chief or something. But
if he went into
sheriff,
if he went into law enforcement, like that was his career path at like 20, 22, that man is in his 30s.
Yeah.
That man's the sheriff in his 30s?
Well, his dad might have been the biggest pig farmer in town. We have no idea the politics of small southern Missouri lead belt town. I have no idea. The politics of root beer are thick and many.
A&W and Dad's warring down there, which I can't imagine looking to the 30-year-old for guidance. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As like the highest authority in this case.
I mean, he might be 37 or something. Who knows? But
I don't want that guy.
You want an older guy with a beer belly.
Fuck yeah.
You want that guy. Well, he says, quote, "You just get so involved that you'll think of something in your sleep, and then you'll sit up the rest of the night trying to figure out what it means." For him, though, it's not like a clue.
No.
He just thinks of like normal shit in his sleep and tries to figure out what it means. He just heard a word and he was like, "What does shunt mean?"
Or he's sitting there going,
is that dirty? Can I say that in public? Sounds dirty.
Shan't sound. I heard that in a Disney movie too many times, and it sounds too much like past tense of shit.
I think it does, can't say it. And I don't even have to tell you what shunt means.
But really, my hang up right now is what is the symbolism of the beans on the stove?
Beans on the stove.
That's got to be symbolism.
Every time someone puts beans on a stove, there's like a dun 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 moment of like a ever closer close up in his face, and he looks out of one eye and he's like, "There's beans on the stove."
Pintos are red. What were those? Were those kidneys? Were those black eyed? Somebody get me the case file one more time.
You crack an A&W in his presence, he just stares at the can for hours at a time. Just stares at it while you sip it.
Where that one came from.
Like, damn it. The root beer is the key to this whole thing. I don't know what something tells me. My intuition tells me the root beer.
Is that a goddamn Barks?
It's the key to everything. It's a Barks. That one's got caffeine in it. Why they're old people. Why would they want caffeine? Oh, no. Now, Christmas of 1993, they're still gone.
No.
Christmas comes around now. So their parents have been missing for months. Their daughter says, quote, "The not knowing is really the hardest part. We do hope they're alive, but then we wonder what kind of condition they must be in. It's just awful." Yeah. So she reiterates her other thing and just adds, like, after 3 months, 4 months, imagine the 3 months, you don't even know. They tried to just go on with life as normal because they're missing. Yeah. So they're in this weird limbo they're in this strange limbo of they're missing, but we haven't found any evidence of foul play. Yeah. So they might be alive. So let's just pretend like they're going to walk in the door any minute. Yeah. And that's what they do. They try to maintain the traditions.
Did they buy him a gift?
I think they did. They spent a day singing Christmas carols and drinking eggnog. They cut a tree from the farm and decorated it and put it up in their house in case they came home. Yeah. So that way they'd have a Christmas tree. They had all the grandchildren there, 5 children and 8 grandchildren came over to the house and put the Christmas tree up and sang carols and shit and pretended like it was a normal Christmas, like they were there. Instead of they put a big yellow ribbon
around the old oak.
around the metal gate, actually around the lead gate in the front of the property. Yeah. It's a little less, but I don't know how many oak trees there are. Now, the Missouri Highway Patrol was offering a reward for information about the VCR. This is what they put out. They're like, it's the only thing trackable. The car's gone. Yeah. Gas cans are pretty. Yeah, that's probably a 50-year-old gas can
there's no
on
serial
a farm.
Number on it.
Yeah, it's probably could have been made 40 years ago. They're old gas cans sitting in a house. Nothing else is really that traceable, but a VCR is a different deal. So they're looking for a Gold Star VCR. Gold Star is the brand. It's a shit one too.
We had that one.
Yeah, I had one too. That's a bad VCR. That thing will eat your fucking tapes, and you'll have to take them apart.
Keep twisting that knob. Yeah. The tracking isn't going to work. You're just watching it flutter.
I had a shit VCR that actually ripped the tape.
No.
I have, and I used to do it all the time, but that's all I had.
Rentals
so I'd use
and
it anyway.
Everything?
Anything. So I couldn't rent anything, really. Yeah. So what I would do is I have unscrewed a plastic video cassette casing, unscrewed it, taken the tape out, cut with an X-Acto knife, thin strips of Scotch tape that fit just over it, and taped it back together.
You have
and then put a piece of tape back together. I was fucking poor. It's either that or I didn't have that tape anymore. So it was happening. I have done that, and it would just be when it passed through that spot on the tape, it would just be kind of blurry for a minute, like a bad tracking thing. It was
Jesus.
Yeah, that's.
You didn't patch in porno films like Fight Club?
No, I should have done that. I didn't even think of it.
That would have been brilliant.
The problem. Yeah. I could have. I didn't even think of it.
Dad's watching Uncle Buck.
Yeah. I was doing old school video editing, or reel to reel type shit. So, that's what they're looking for. The missing VCR, they said they make an announcement. They're saying it may have been purchased by an unsuspecting person in a flea market or garage sale, some sort of secondhand thing. So they're saying check your VCRs. If you've bought some VCR secondhand and it's a Gold Star, check the serial number. This might be that, and then we could try to trace it back. They say the location of the VCR may be the key to finding the Lewises, is what they announce. A substantial reward is available for any information leading to the location of the Lewis family.
How much is that?
So they do not say. They just say a substantial amount. I think the kids have all pitched in, and I think this family does okay monetarily. Okay. So there is money here. So a substantial reward. Yeah. So keep that in mind.
Root beer floats for life.
Yeah. Keep in mind that money is important to people and more important than other things a lot of times when we get into this.
Okay.
So with this reward, large, substantial reward for any information with a VCR, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in September 1994, a year later, these people have been missing for a year. A year. And in a year, the kids are wondering where they are. And all the police have is, if you have a Gold Star VCR that you've bought, please tell us, because that's literally all they have to go on is this VCR. So a man named Bruce Williams calls the police department. Okay. And he says, I know who did this whole thing. I know who's responsible for it. I am the one who had the VCR, and we sold it to a pawn shop. Mm-hmm. So that's, I know where this came from. He implicates his brother-in-law in this crime, his wife's brother. So he says it's a man named William Whisman, and he says William and William's brother Robert together did this, and there's another person too that's involved, which is interesting. And he said that they then gave the VCR to Whisman's sister and Bruce Williams, and they sold the VCR to a pawn shop. And so, where's my reward? I figure it's what. It's funny how the reward always moves people.
It really does.
It's like, I mean, it's family, but I mean, that's $1,000. I mean, you know.
I wonder what Billy and Bob did to him.
Well, let's find out here what Billy and Bob did here. Now, he calls, this is September 15th, 1994. He calls. He says that he thought the call was anonymous too. He didn't say who he was. He didn't say my brother-in-law gave me the VCR. He just said a guy named William and his brother Robert Whisman had the VCR, and it was eventually sold to a pawn shop, and that's all he says, and hangs up. But I don't know if he thinks there's no, like, they'll never know it's me, but they know it's him. They trace the call back to him, back to this Bruce Williams.
And you live in a town of 7,000 people today. Then there was less then.
Yeah, there was less. It's up 77% since then. So
the lady taking the phone call was probably like, "Is that you, Bruce?"
Yeah, Bruce.
And then he just hangs up real
Click.
fast.
No, it ain't me. Click. It's the famous "it's not me" thing. What athlete did that? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
There's an athlete that made that.
Yeah,
that was like, he was the one that made that famous, where he said "it's not me." He's like a 6'11" fucking guy. So so they trace the call to Bruce Williams, and then they go to talk to him. They go, "Hey, stupid, you called, dummy? What's happened with that VCR?" And they get information here. They end up talking to Robert Whisman, and they end up talking to him and getting a little more information. He's one of the people that Bruce Williams implicated, but not to William. They try to find William Whisman. They try to find him at a woman named Mary Lamming's farm, where William is living with his girlfriend. Also, his 16-year-old son at the time lives there. Brent is his name. Now, the Bruce Williams tells the police where they can find Robert and William, and also where they can find the Lewises. He tells them where they are.
He knows where the bodies are.
He knows where they are. He says, you go to Mary Lamming's farm, you'll find the Whismans, and you're going to find the Lewises there as well. So the police go there. They do find the couple. They find Charles and Grace. They are in a shallow grave covered with concrete and a pile of horse manure on the farm. Yeah, I don't know if they thought that would throw dogs off if they put a pile of manure on top of it. Like, no one's going to look under the shit.
Wow.
Who looks under the shit pile?
Okay.
Nobody. And Grace is...
They found him there, though.
Yeah. It's awful. Boy. It's fucking terrible.
Under shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
And then Karen's like, I knew they were under shit. I'm like, Jesus, that's grim, Karen. Fuck. Been saying that shit for a year. I told you guys.
But I've got so many questions. You're going to answer them all, so I'm not even going to ask them. But like,
no, shoot.
And we talk about all the time how like there's all these weird circumstances that happen after a murder, and you go, but what's the protocol? Yeah. I'll tell you what. One protocol is not: do not desecrate a body by putting horse shit on top, or cow
concrete and
cow, right?
manure, so cow shit. So they put a layer of concrete, so they concreted over these people to make like a foundation for the shit pile, and then put a shit pile on top, thinking no one's going to go under a shit pile through concrete to find these people, when if they're looking hard enough,
the law does that.
The law doesn't go, ew, poop, gross, and run away. They fucking
can't search here, you guys.
No, they just bulldoze it out of the way, and then they fucking search. We searched everywhere, but of course not we didn't search under the poop. No, Sergeant. Sheriff, I am
stroking his chin going,
not searching under the poop.
How are we going to get them?
Yeah.
There is shit there, you
Damn
guys.
It. And the sheriff goes, you know what? Don't search the poop. It is gross. You're right.
And Jackson never searched poop.
Nope, search poop. He said, always hide murder weapon in poop. Jackson's just writing, it's a thing of how not to get caught for a murder.
He's dextering it up. Just writing a manual for Dexter.
Hide murder weapon in poop. Okay. He's two O's. All right. So, they're found there. This is where where William Roussan and Brent are living. Yeah. Brent is his son. So the police arrest Robert, who is William's brother, and they also arrest Brent, the 16-year-old son.
Because?
Based on what Robert told them, and we'll talk about that in a second. They go to arrest William at the farm. They arrest Robert somewhere else, and then they go back to arrest William. The farm is at the end of a winding gravel road. It is miles from the highway. Yeah. It's just out there. It's near Old Mines, Missouri. When they get there, so you can see cars coming from forever. Yeah. It's one of those where you can hear it's coming up the gravel. I mean, you could probably hear it forever too.
You hear cars? You see flash? Is that flashing lights coming over there?
Yeah. So if there's a bunch of police cars coming, you know they're coming. Yeah. Apparently, William climbed out of a window and flees into the woods behind the home.
Okay.
He takes off into the woods.
Just gone through the door. He had time.
No, he jumped out the window. Apparently, he waited till they got there. Jesus Christ, the sheriff says here, he's a brilliant man. I got to say, the sheriff, quote, he saw the cars coming and he realized they probably wanted to do business with him. You think?
Good
you
call,
think that's
Sheriff.
why I figure he just went, I really got to go deer hunting right now, and just jumped out the window and fucking ran into I got a feeling. Right. I got an itch for hunting.
I sense one close.
You think he was running? Yeah, I feel him. He sits there like holding his temples together, and he's like, there's deer. There's deer afoot, and he just jumps out the window. It's what happens.
Y'all hungry? I'll be right back.
It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift, but you got to run when it calls. You know what I mean? Yeah. When nature calls, you got to go. So they have to look for him. Mm-hmm. They say that he should be considered armed and dangerous.
Yeah,
obviously. And the sheriff says, "quote I don't think I'd take any chances with this guy."
Jesus, sheriff.
Jesus fucking Christ! And especially if he's got poop on him, stay far away from him, because that smells.
That is gross.
He's armed, dangerous, and possibly poop encrusted. So there's a lot. That's going to be the name of the show. Armed, dangerous, and possibly poop encrusted. I feel like that needs to be the title of the show. No, we're not going to put poop in the title. That would be the greatest title ever, but we can't do it.
You could go fecal encrusted.
Well, no, what? That's worse, I think. That's less playful. It's less whimsical. Poop is sort of whimsical. Poop can be fun, almost.
There have been a lot of people that have come here to visit, and they're like, I've heard that Salt River is a really great place to tube. Should I do that? And I'm like, they close that once a year because the fecal count is really high. And they go, yeah, you're right.
No, fecal sounds scientific and like a cause of death. He was overwhelmed with fecal matter. That's why he died. That sounds, whereas poop is like, you'd never be like, he pooped himself to death. That's funny. See, he died of a fecal illness. That's not as fun. That's gross.
Terrible.
He pooped. His poop done killed him. Hilarious, right?
I have made people not tube because I said fecal. You're right.
Well, you're right. That's what happens. So William is on a poop encrusted 4 days. 4 days
he's on a journey.
He runs into the woods and they chase after him and can't find him for 4 days. 4 days. Finally, they get near it. They surround a barn and they find him in there. He tries to escape from the barn. There's a brief foot pursuit. And then finally, he is apprehended. He is, tackled as he runs through the woods. Yeah. He's found armed with a 22 rifle and a large knife.
He's carrying a rifle.
He's carrying a rifle. It's probably got it on a strap. I would assume on his back.
I would hope so.
He's got a rifle and a large knife on him, so he's not fucking around either. He's out there trying to survive. He's advised of his Miranda rights. Obviously, he said he understood his rights, but he wants to make a statement.
Oh, great!
I know my rights, but I'm going to go ahead and go against everything granted me by the Constitution and go ahead and just throw that out the window, because I'm sure that wasn't given to me for a reason, those rights. I'm sure that's not advantageous to me in any way. I'll just talk to you.
I had some shit to say.
Yeah. He tells this police officer that he was involved in the murders and he could lead them to the bodies and all that sort of thing. They said, we know about the bodies.
Right.
Thanks.
We already got them.
Yeah. They question him for about 1.5 hours. So not a long time. During the interview, he made a shitload of statements that are all incriminating. That he just waved aside those Miranda rights. Nope, no thanks. And implicated himself in the murders. This interview was not recorded.
Oh.
This is 1993 in a small town in Missouri.
So tape recorders exist.
They exist, but it's not like national standard to document everything like it is now.
So they just got Jackson taking notes?
Now they have audio, video, they have everything. Right. Every time you talk to somebody, that way you know what everybody says. But then they didn't do that. So he he said that they took, and also while they're interviewing him at 9 p.m., they take about a 1 hour break. During the break, they give him a sandwich so he can eat, and paramedics treat his feet because he's been running in the woods for 4 days. And he's got all sorts of blisters and
pulling
cuts
the
and shit
out of his fucking legs.
Oh, can you imagine? Living in the woods on the run for 4 days.
Crazy bugs.
Bugs,
insane bugs,
snakes, fucking animals. The South is not meant to be inhabited.
No.
It's just like living here in the desert. It's clearly the earth is trying to shake you from it. It does not want you here.
But out in the desert during the day, there's really nothing out.
No.
It's at night where it's fucking scary.
Well,
in the South though, it's
scary.
24 hours a day.
7. Well, here it's the sun that's the deadly thing. Even the fucking the lizards are hiding from it during the day. So that's why. But, so they give him that. They treat his feet. They give him a sandwich. The officers then ask him if he wants to make a recorded statement. They say, well, you've told us shit not recorded. Care to put it down on tape? And he said, sure, sounds good.
Great.
I'd love to repeat what I said again. Yeah. Once again, I'm not very smart. So at 10:10 p.m., after they come back from the break, they conduct a taped interview with him. And once again, prior to the interview, they do say, read him his Miranda rights again. And they say, you don't have to say shit. Yeah. Just so you know, whatever you're about to say is completely voluntary and we don't need you to say it. And he went, no problem. Start that bitch up. Let's go.
Can I get a barks in here?
Yep. He stated, they also said that if he ever wants to quit this conversation, he can stop talking at any time. He can ask for an attorney. They basically told him, don't say anything, dummy. And he went, no, really, I have stuff to say. I'm really smart. So, he made incriminating remarks that were consistent, the same things he said in the unrecorded part of the interview. He just repeated the same thing again. The taped interview concludes at about 11 p.m. So, I mean, he's there for a little while. They give him a sandwich. They treat his feet. They record his statement, and that's the interview. Yeah. Normally, that's a 14-hour process. At no time prior to or during the interviews did William ask for counsel or indicate that he didn't want to speak or any of that. No one threatened him. No one made him any promises. They didn't say, hey, we can knock your charges down for you. They didn't say anything. They basically said, don't talk. Yeah. And he ignored it. William indicated that he understood what was happening. He had no mental impairments. I'm not crazy. He even said, I don't know. They even said, did you drop out of school in the 2nd grade? He said, no, I'm lettered. He said, I can read. They gave
him all the outs.
They gave him every out. No, he said he has, in his own words, no mental impairments, no educational limitations. They made him repeat all this shit. He said, although his feet were injured, that he wasn't in any pain. He had no overwhelming physical pain that was overcoming his mental state or any bullshit like that. His responses were responses to the questions here. Now let's talk a little bit about William before we talk about the case. Let's find out who we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because this is just a guy who ran through the woods and we know nothing about him.
He's scary.
He's a scary guy.
Scary dumb.
We'll talk about, he's scary everything. Now, William, how does he know the Lewises? And is this a random thing? It's not. He knows the Lewises. Okay. He's known the Lewises since 1975. William was born in 1956. In 1975, he met the Lewises at their farm and did a little bit of work for them. So he's known them back then since he was 19. This is in between jail stints for William because he is in and out of jail his whole adult life.
Oh, boy.
I don't even know how he had time to father a son, the 16-year-old Brent because he's always in and out. In November of 84, he's convicted for multiple counts of check fraud in Texas, is what I found on some records checks. Also has prior convictions, and this is in Texas, Missouri, and the state of Washington as well. Convictions for rape, assault, escape from custody, and unlawful possession of a firearm, and including and then also fraud and check fraud as well. So this is this guy's record. Not a good guy.
Yeah.
Not good at all. But the Lewises have always helped him out in between his stints in prison. In 1989, William escaped from a prison farm. He was on a prison farm in Missouri and escaped and ran to the Lewis's farm, where Charles Lewis found him hiding in the barn, living there on the run, being a fugitive. So Charles helped him hide out. Charles let him stay there. I feel like Charles is one of those guys, especially being such a Christian-y guy and a minister and all that. I feel like he's one of those guys. It's like nobody can judge you but the Lord. Okay. I feel like he's one of those guys. That
probably good at your heart.
That would be like, I don't judge.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That ain't my job. It's a good Lord.
It's just the big man upstairs, because I see a man in front of me, and that man needs food and a place to stay.
Have a saucer of milk.
And that's it. Puts it down on the ground. William gets down to he starts licking at it. That would be amazing. But
I wish he had.
I feel like that's Charles's type of deal. I feel like he's just like, well, I don't judge. Right. You know what I mean? You say you're a good man and you're here and I'm here to help you. Like, I feel like he's one of those type of guys. Yep. So he lets him.
Let me tell you about Ecclesiastes. Well, maybe something else. I am a lay preacher.
I don't know it all. I know quotes. I'm just not sure where they're from.
It's from a book in there.
If I attribute them to, somebody, it might be somebody else.
Might be Luke. Might have been Paul. Who knows?
He lets him hide out there. Charles gave William food, clothing, and shelter, let him stay at his home while he was a fugitive. And then when William was leaving the farm to continue his escape and continue running, the Lewises even gave him $20.
They gave him money on top of it.
They gave him clothes, food. They sent him away like he was a kid going away to camp. Here's some extra clothes. He had a picnic basket there. Yeah. With the checkered white, red thing. Well, he opens it up. Ooh, muffins. It's got stuff.
I love them blueberries.
And some beans that were soaking on the stove. Hey, root beer. Excellent. So they also gave him $20 and they sent him on his way.
It's unbelievable how nice they are.
They're very nice people. And this is because they had known him 15 years earlier and had seen him fleeting here and there. He's been in prison, out of state, and everything else. Yeah. Every once in a while, he'll stop by the farm and they always help him out a little bit. And maybe that's why they help him, is because they've known him since he was 19. Yeah. So to them, it's like, oh, here's this troubled kid that we've been seeing. And
that's what it is, too.
I feel like that's what it is. On the day of his arrest here, now, like we said, he has a 16-year-old son, Brent, who's arrested as well in this whole mess, and we'll find out why. And also his brother, Robert, who's his younger brother, is involved in this. Now, when he's arrested on videotape, William says that he claims he was asked twice to kill the Lewises, but that he only went to their farm that day to steal cattle, is what he said. He said his teenage son lost control and shot both of them. He had nothing. He didn't shoot them.
Okay, he was asked twice to kill him.
We'll find out by who. Okay. But he said, I was asked twice to kill the Lewises, and I didn't do it. Right. Because I never wanted to kill them. That's how little I want them dead, is I was asked twice, politely, to kill them, and I refused. Okay. I only went there that day to steal their cattle. That's it.
That's an strange reason.
This is 1993, not 1893.
Right. He's going to rustle cattle?
He's going literally to rustle some cattle. Here off the farm.
With his boy
and his brother. Right. It's a family affair. Yeah. He said that's all they were going, but he said at some point, his teenage son, Brent, lost his mind and shot them both and killed both people. Okay. So then William and his brother tried to cover it up to help his son.
Damn it, Brent.
Obviously. And then they stole a VCR.
Right.
And some
now we got to lay concrete.
Yeah, no shit. Now, he says this whole thing, he was released from, William had just gotten out of prison. The Lewises were killed in September of 1993. William got out of prison in June of 1993. He was released from prison. William says he returned to the farm to thank the Lewises for their kindness and, quote, rekindle their friendship. In other words, have more people that'll give me things that I need.
Could sure use some free shit right now.
Yeah, I could sure use people to rob and some free shit, and I bet I can take advantage of these nice people. So on the videotape here, William Rusin claims that Charles Lewis approached him several months before the murders and asked William to kill him and his wife.
What?
He said, will you kill us both? William said in his own words here, he says, quote, she was sick, talking about Grace, ailing real bad. He was wanting to put Grace out of her misery, and if she was put out of her misery, he didn't want to go on by himself. So his story is that Charles Lewis here begs him to kill Charles and his wife Grace as a mercy killing. Euthanize us, basically. Will you come and do this? It's a Fletch situation, is what's going on here. If you want to, I think that's the legal term. It's known as a Fletch situation. So, still not legal to do. And that's his claim. Now, he says weeks after he said no to this, he said, I can't kill you guys. I like you guys. And, I could never do that. He says weeks later, their oldest son, the Lewis's oldest son, Charles IV, got to name them after each other. Yeah. Charles IV offered William $50,000 to kill Grace and Charles. He said that the son wanted the couple. Now, this is a totally different. This isn't a mercy killing.
Dad doesn't even know this.
Dad doesn't know. This is what I mean. This is separate occasions. Dad wants a mercy killing, and then the son doesn't give a shit about mercy. He says,
just wants the farm.
He says that it was a dispute over a family business, and Charles said, I'll give you $50,000 to kill my parents. So, in his claim, he's been asked twice in a 2-month period to kill a elderly couple who everybody likes by two totally different people with different motives.
One including the actual people.
The actual people. This is a really hard story to swallow here. Yeah. But it's so far-fetched, you go, is this true?
The first one, though, you might go, oh, that's interesting. That's very. But then he throws in that curveball at the end with the son. Then you're like, all right, I got you.
Hold on a second here.
I understand.
How many people want these people dead?
Right.
Fuck, man. Now, William said he agreed to do it at that point, but he never received any money from Charles IV other than one $100 bill as like a down payment, which is not enough on $50,000.
Also,
what is that?
Yeah, that's a millionth of a percent.
What
that's nothing.
Yeah, you don't take that.
The other part is like, you're not going to get any money because there's no murder. There's nobody dead at this point.
No.
You've just got two people that are missing. Yeah. You've got to produce bodies to get an insurance.
You need death certificates, and you need a whole. Yeah.
Sometimes they'll pronounce you dead without the body. Yeah. But in this
usually
case,
it's like if you're lost at sea or something. Not if you're.
There's not even any
missing from the farm.
Right. There's not any clue that there's a dead body anywhere, or that somebody's dead. This is just people are missing.
They didn't even have blood.
No.
So it would have been ridiculous.
This is a terrible plan.
Yeah, so what actually happened on September 21st, 1993?
Oh, I'd love to know.
I would love to know here. Okay, let's find out. I do know, but I'd love to tell you and everyone out there. So it was Brent, the 16-year-old, William's son, William, and William's brother, Robert. Right. They met and discussed stealing cattle from Charles and Grace Lewis. Yeah. They had a little cattle rustling, powwow here. Yeah. So Charles Lewis here, they were living on the farm, obviously. The Rusons devised the plan to go to the farm and steal the cattle. So they set out to the farm. On the way, they discussed the possibility of killing the Lewises. Mm-hmm. They agreed that, quote, if it had to be done, it had to be done. Like they said, we want to steal these cattle and just get out of there. But if they put up a stink about it, or if they, catch us, we're not going to jail. William's like, I ain't going back.
Right.
Which, he's been in and out. He just got out in June.
Right. He's 3 months removed from that shithole.
Yeah. He's none of, hey, maybe I should get a job or anything like that, I noticed. Just how can I steal cattle from these people? They would have probably hired him to work or something. Like he could have they probably would have helped him, which is the annoying part.
Benefit rather than just this short-term gain.
A couple of cattle. Right. So apparently they were driving out there. Apparently the three of them drove past the Lewis farm. And at that point, William pointed out the cattle that they would be stealing. He said, okay, there's where the cattle are. Because those are the other two haven't been on the farm a lot. So there's the cattle. We're going to get those. And this is the plan. So William parks the truck about 2 miles from the farm. 2 miles.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We're going to walk 2 miles to this shit? I'm going to be exhausted for this heist.
Well, you wonder why there's a truck missing at the farm. So there you go.
What, are we going to ride the fucking cows back?
But the smart thing is they do know that everybody honks and waves, and if you drive there, everyone's going to see. Everyone's up each other's asses in this town. If you parked at their house, everyone knows it. There was this truck and this license plate, and you know how these people are in the middle of nowhere.
Three gentlemen get out of it,
and they'd have a license plate number and a make and a model, and the bumper sticker said, honk if you fart. And, it's a fucking, so, it's ridiculous. So they park 2 miles away. William gets out of the truck and removes a .22 caliber rifle that belongs to his girlfriend, who's the owner of that farm, Mary Lamming. Okay. He loaded the rifle, loaded the .22. And he said at the time, quote, in case anyone's home. So they'd like to get out without just running into the Lewises.
Right. Cattle and no Lewises.
Cattle, no Lewises. So then William and his son Brent argued over who would carry the gun. They argued over it.
But they really did this.
They really disagreed about it. Brent said that he was, quote, man enough to do whatever needed to be done and that he would use the gun if he had to. So he should be able to carry it. He's 16, goddammit. I am old enough to be the trigger man in a murder conspiracy.
Well, I've been to prison, and I will beat the living shit out of you, boy.
I've been convicted of rape. I think I'm the murderer here.
Well, I will rape you.
Who's the murderer? Who's got rape convictions, huh, mister? Not you.
What's your highest conviction?
How many rapes have you been convicted of? Rapist. Right here, pal. I'll kill them all.
Documented.
That's worse.
Right.
God damn it. So they argued over this. William says, apparently tells Brent that he's not man enough to do it. And that's when he says, I'm man enough to do whatever needs to be done, and I'm going to carry the gun. And William said, no, you're not carrying it. And eventually, though, after arguing, and when you're walking for 2 miles, you can have a long argument. This shit can just go on and linger. And finally, he just said, fine, you carry it then, to Brent. And he gives him the gun. He just gave it to the teenager. He wore him down. And he does warn Brent that if anything does go down and if they kill these people, that if they were to get caught, they would definitely fry, is what he told his son. So they're going to fry us if this happens. So he knows that they're fucked if they get caught for killing these people. So they hike through the woods to the farm where they waited for cover behind a tree. There's a fallen tree, and they all get down like military style behind the tree and observe the farm. Between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, they're there hiding behind this tree. Charles and Grace return home. They were out. They return back to the farm.
In the afternoon.
Charles Lewis goes out and starts to mow the lawn. Doing some chores. Mrs. Lewis here, Grace, goes inside and speaks on the phone to their daughter, who she's talking to, and on the phone, and while Charles is mowing. And Brent apparently said that everybody said Brent grew tired of waiting and said that he wanted to do it. So Brent is ready to rock and roll here.
But Brent,
I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to kill him now.
We're not here to kill,
yeah,
Brent.
Well, Brent has other ideas, apparently. So William told Brent to wait until William and Robert had secured the house. He said, let us go in and get everything locked down, and then you come in, and, if we need to shoot anybody, we can shoot people, but let's not just go running around.
It's not be crazy.
Firing shit off here. So William headed to the front door, and Robert made his way to the back door. So they're closing in on these people. Before they arrived at the two doors, Mr. Lewis, who was mowing, Charles, saw Brent and yelled out to Brent. They heard this, the two men, and went to see what was going on. And as they're going, Brent fired at least 6 shots.
Holy shit.
At this point, at Charles Lewis. Charles Lewis died as a result of multiple gunshot wounds that happened right there while he was mowing the lawn. So he was hit with all the 6 shots.
All 6.
So these guys deer hunt, and they're good shots.
Well, a .22 long rifle like that, it's real easy to hit shit.
Yeah,
they are so accurate.
Plus, they're good shots, these people. So, I mean, a moving target in the lawn from however far away, hits him with all six, though. Not too shabby. Well, I guess for a shot. Now, Mrs. Lewis is speaking on the phone with her daughter, as we know of. She tells her daughter she heard gunfire. I got to hang up, which, like we said before, she wasn't too worried about it. It's probably hunters. As poor Mrs. Lewis, and think about poor Mrs. Lewis, she's just twisted with arthritis. She's basically in rigor, this poor woman. She exits the house through the front door just to see what's going on, and Brent starts firing at her.
Oh, my God.
Shoots her several times. The bullets break both of her arms.
Oh, fuck.
Shoots her in the arms, breaks the bones in both of her arms, but does not kill her.
Oh, no.
So she runs back into the house with broken arms.
Oh, God.
Number one, the pain and the fear, obviously, is horrible.
Well, she's used to it. She's probably like, this doesn't even hurt.
No, that's what I mean. Apparently, William follows her in and takes a garment bag from a coat rack, like a big, suit bag, basically, and puts the bag over Grace's head and the upper part of her body, picks her up and carries her outside. She's still alive.
And broken arm,
bleeding everywhere, shot multiple times. He basically treats her like a suit and hurls her over his shoulder and takes her outside. He goes outside and places her on the ground. She's alive and scared, I imagine. At this point, William turned to Brent, his 16-year-old son, mind you, and told him, quote, finish her off.
Oh, my word.
I don't even know what to say about that. The cold-bloodedness of let's finish off in cold blood this poor old woman.
As she's just lying on the ground.
As she's dying on the ground and in so much pain. But to tell your 16-year-old son to finish her off is next level of sick.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know which is worse.
Is this his words?
He's
telling this?
This is everybody. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But Brent spills the beans too. Brent he is not, much like his father, he's ready to talk. And he's 16 and doesn't know much, and he spills it like Dassey. I mean, but true in this case. So, so at this point, finish her off, which is fucking disgusting. That's just sickening. It's one thing in the heat of whatever, it's obviously still sick and whatever, but to have someone there and just go finish her off and do it is disgusting.
At the end of Full Metal Jacket, I get it, but this is way different.
Yeah, if he just sniped half your platoon, it would be a different. If Grace had sniped half his whole family from the house, and then they finally got him, finish her off. That would be fine. But that was Full Metal Jacket. So Brent puts the gun up and fires one shot into the side of her head and kills her. So at least put her out of her misery. But good Christ. So the three of them wrap the bodies in a tarp and tie it up with rope. So the tarp stays closed. William tells them they should pick up all the shell casings from around the house and around the yard and clean up the blood stains as well as best as they can in the house, because Grace ran back in the house
with the broken arms
and bled all over everything. So they do all of that. They clean the house up real nice, and no one knows. No one's the wiser. Gunshots don't stand out in this neighborhood, and no one sees shit. So they clean everything up, and they end up placing the bodies near a shed on their property, on the Lewis's property, and they leave and return later. Their plan is return later to get the bodies and the cattle. That's the plan. So go and take off. So now all three of them, Brent, William, and Robert, return that night, and they bring another brother with them, Jerry Roussan.
God, Jesus.
He comes along for the ride here. They all return to the farm. They load the bodies into the Lewis's truck, the white, the GMC that's missing. They load the bodies in there. They take two cows, a VCR, some jewelry, a 6-pack of root beer, 2 gas cans, and a saddle. That's their haul.
That's it.
And 2 dead elderly people.
2 people are dead over that shit.
Over that. A couple of cows and a 6-pack of soda and a fucking Gold Star VCR that eats your tapes and makes you have to pay exorbitant fees to Blockbuster Video in 1993. So they then return. They take all of this to the farm that William's living on, Mary Lamming's farm. On the return trip, Brent was just bragging about the murders to Jerry. Brent was because Jerry's, he's
new to this.
He's new to this. Yeah. So he was telling him how, I went up and killed this guy and shot her in the head, and he's real brag. He thinks this is the greatest thing in the world. He's like fucking old dog from Menace to Society.
He is a piece of shit.
He's showing the videotape, and no, there's no videotape here, but if you've seen Menace to Society, you know what I'm talking about. So once they get to the farm, apparently all the men dig a hole and they bury the Lewises in a shallow grave by the barn. After they place the bodies in it, they pour concrete over the bodies, cover that all up. Once that's smoothed up, they pile it up high with manure, and they burn rags. They burn the rags they used to clean the blood from the Lewis's house on the farm. So they tried to get rid of as much evidence as possible, and they did a good job.
Yeah.
The police said they had nothing, no evidence,
They would
nothing
have no
to go
idea
on.
if that dude didn't tell them.
No, they'd have no fucking clue. So they said they disposed of the Lewis's property in various ways. On the night of the murders, they drank the soda.
Yeah.
They actually had to say, "What'd you do with the soda?" "We drank it." All right. And then Jackson wrote it down. Drank soda.
Drank the bark.
So they drank soda. The cows were later sold at auction. So they sold off the cows. Robert gave the VCR to their sister and brother-in-law, Bruce and Barbara Williams, which was the whole reason why they got caught, because they gave a VCR. They gave him the VCR the day after the murders, and the Williams sold the VCR to a pawnbroker about 8 months later. So that's how that whole thing happened. William buried the Lewis's personal items and that they took.
That's
little things. Buried that, and then he gave listen to this shit. This is crazy. This is some serial killer shit here. He saved all the jewelry he stole and gave the jewelry to his girlfriend.
Gross.
He didn't give it to her all at once. He gave it to her
on holidays,
on special occasions over the whole year. Valentine's Day. Oh, here's a bracelet for you, sweet. Your birthday. I found you a nice necklace. He gave them to her on special occasions. He saved them as like, oh, here's my gifts for the next year.
Look at this. I don't have to buy that bitch shit. I got murder trophies.
That's what serial killers do.
What an asshole.
That is fucking sick. And then they all, the four of them were the ones that hid and burned the truck. So,
oh God, I hate him.
This guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
This whole family, they're
they all suck. But
fucking
that guy
horrible
extra
people.
Worse.
Yeah, William's the worst of all.
Whoa.
None of the other ones have rape convictions. Also, in addition to this horse shit. So, 1996 comes around. 2 years of this being in court and limbo and pretrial motions and all that sort of shit. 1996, Brent, the son, who's at this point 18 years old. By the way, they charged him as an adult with the murder right away, even though he was 17. He pleads guilty, doesn't do a trial. Okay. Brent pleads guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Ooh.
2 counts. He does not get a good deal.
He didn't even get second.
No.
He got first.
2 counts of first-degree murder and is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
That's a deal?
That's his deal. We're not gonna give you the death penalty, and if you fucking go through with this, you're the trigger man. You're getting the death penalty. These are nice people.
Right.
You're fucked. And he said, okay, all right.
I'll take it.
Life without. So you know what? Good for you. Fuck off, Brent. Wow, what a shitty fucking worthless life he was. 16 years.
16 years, that's all he got out of this. And he contributed nothing.
As I say, he couldn't have contributed anything to society in the first 16 years. He's not Mozart or something. So, I mean, he did nothing, and then he murdered 2 nice people, and now he's sitting in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
If he was, that's the case of, holy shit, what a great abortion that would have been. That's why I'm pro-abortion. And I don't mean pro-choice, I mean pro-abortion.
Yeah.
Pro-fucking no.
Yeah.
You stop having that. All of you. That goes for all of you. Stop having kids. I don't care if you can take care of them or not.
It should be mandatory for 5 years. We just
stop.
There's too many of them.
Everybody stop for a minute. Stop.
There's too many people and too many of this asshole.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So wow. So finally, William is up for trial. Robert also pleads guilty, but he's going to testify against William. So they're holding his sentencing till after the trial, because if they give him too good of a deal, they can use that against him. Okay. So. This trial comes, the whole thing here, there's 2.5 days of trial, for William. The jury was picked in a different county and then transported here. So they have the case actually in St. Francis County where it took place, but it's, the jury is from another County because it got a lot of publicity. They bust them in.
Got it.
So Robert,
rather than change a venue, they're just bringing them over.
Yeah, they're just busting them in. Okay. So it's a change of venue without changing the venue.
Beautiful.
So I think it's probably so that county won't have to pay for it.
Oh, that's smart.
Because there's a lot of things with pay for it where they bill each other, and whenever there's a change of venue, there's always a money situation because trials cost money, and you got
sheriff's deputies that you got in the courtroom that you got to pay. All this shit.
It's probably cheaper to just bus at this point. So Robert testifies against William. Robert pleaded guilty to second-degree murder because he's testifying. Now William does not testify, but he really doesn't have to because they have quite a detailed videotape statement saying what happened. For the reasons don't matter because that you can take out, they asked me to hire, they tried to hire me and all that. Just take the part where he said we went there and killed them.
That's it.
And that's all that really matters. And so that's pretty much what they have. They play that for the jury. On the tape, William claimed twice that, like we said, he was asked to kill them. And so that makes the jury think he's a liar also. Then he said his teenage son lost control. In closing arguments at the trial, defense attorney Robert Wolfram conceded that there is definitely enough evidence to convict his client of second-degree murder. Second degree, though. But he said William was not the shooter and should not be convicted of first-degree murder. That's not right, because he shouldn't be up for the death penalty if he's not the trigger man, is what they're saying.
I don't know. When you say the phrase "finish her off," first degree,
to your 16-year. It's not like another adult. This is a person you have dominion over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This person looks to you for guidance in life, and you just told him to murder a woman.
Sorry, that's pulling the trigger, in my opinion.
That's murder one, babe.
The jury finds William guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Fantastic.
So there's that. Sentencing comes around, and this is a fucking, as you can imagine, this is that's grim, Karen. I mean, this is a fucking, they have a lot of family members and grandkids are all there, and the fucking kids are all testifying. All the neighbors are saying, "Oh, what a sweet woman Grace would come with the beans, all crippled up with the arthritis." And then, oh my God,
Karen's sitting in the back going, "He's getting the death penalty.
He's getting the death penalty." He's just, I know what's going to happen.
Karen,
his head's going to catch on fire when they put him in the electric chair. And Jesus, Karen, that's grim.
He's got a family.
Fuck, Karen, man. God damn it.
You are a vicious woman.
Jesus, Karen, calm down. So the state presents testimony from the family members of the Lewises, obviously about the impact of the deaths on the family, that they were the center of the whole family. William presents the testimony also for mitigating of his friends and family members, saying he's not a bad guy. I wonder if they got the lady he raped in there to talk about that. Maybe get her up there.
How polite was he during this rape?
Yeah, was he a Jesus? Was it a nice Christian rape? Jesus Christ, man. So the prosecutor says, after this, in his closing, the defense has asked you for mercy, and what they are hoping for is weakness. I'm sorry, it's a hard choice. Weakness is something we can no longer afford. Do your duty. Thank you, folks. He's asking for the death penalty. And the judge, the jury recommends their thing, and then the judge has his say, and he says to William, "You, sir, may fuck off, death penalty for you."
All right.
So they're going to get him on this. And it makes, you really have to do something heinous for us to be excited about this. That's what, because we are not death penalty people.
You don't get to murder old people.
Not in this way.
No, and you don't do it after we already know you're a shitbag. You spent most of your life in prison.
All the time.
We expect you to be dumb.
You're raising a shitty kid who wants to kill people. You're a piece of shit.
You're a piece of shit, and you made another one.
Yeah. So the jury, they recommend sentence of death. They found statutory aggravating circumstances. These are the aggravators, that he was convicted of rape in the second degree and assault in the second degree before, that the murder was committed while he was engaged in the unlawful homicide of Charles. He's sentenced to death for Grace's murder, because it has to be a particularly vicious thing. And Grace, with broken arms, it's basically, to put a bag over her head, carry her out, and instruct someone to finish her. I'd say that's wanton disregard. That's the law. So I would say that's pretty vicious. And the jury agrees, and so does the judge. So there was that, plus it was in the commission of the Charles Lewis murder. So it was a particularly vicious murder done in the commission of a robbery and murder. So it's just doubled up for him.
And they weren't there for anything other than this. The whole point of going there was to do horrible things.
That's absolutely right. They also find an aggravator that he directed his son to murder her. That's not good.
Gross.
That Grace's murder involved depravity of mind because she was killed after being rendered helpless, which she was never not helpless. Right. She's an old woman, but even worse with broken, shot arms. And also the murder was committed while he was engaged in a robbery. They also recommended the sentence of death for Charles Lewis, too.
Really?
Because that was in the commission of a robbery. Yeah. So they said, let's kill him. Fuck. You like him? He's so nice. We'll kill him twice. So they found 4 aggravating circumstances with his murder. Obviously, most of them are the same. They sentence him to death for the murder of Grace Lewis, but the judge sentences him to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for Charles.
Okay.
So the jury recommends death twice. The judge gives him death once.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
Once is enough.
Once is enough. Because it's like, you know what? Yeah. That's fine. On appeal, the Charles thing could be argued whether its sentencing is correct. But on the other one, fuck you.
Yeah.
So the reaction to this, Mike Lewis, who was the son of the Lewises, he said, quote, "It has been a long time coming. Now I guess I don't have to worry about him getting out and hurting somebody else." Which is a perfect thing he should say to that.
Did the sheriff say that too?
No, the sheriff did not say that. The sheriff said, "That boy ain't gonna lack needles when we're done with him." Really? So he appeals, obviously. Yeah. There's several appeals, automatic appeals in 96, and then later appeals in 2006, and then later in 2010 we'll talk about. In his appeals, he alleges the trial court erred in sustaining the state's challenge to basically, Jesus Christ, how do I put this in easy terms? The jury, we've gone through this a million times. There was jurors who said that they couldn't do the death penalty, they would never convict somebody on the death penalty, and they would need extra evidence. We've gone over this 100 times.
You have to dismiss those people?
Yeah, well, you have to be willing to say, basically the law in most states is you have to be willing, and federally, is you have to be willing to say that you would if you had to. If the evidence presented itself to where you thought that was the right thing, you would be willing to whatever, give the person the death penalty. So one of the jurors stated, quote, there would have been no doubt at all before he would vote. There would have to be no doubt at all about the murder before he would vote to impose the death penalty, and would probably require more proof of guilt in a capital case than in a regular case.
Isn't it fascinating that it's like eye for an eye? Like the Bible Belt is typically like super for the death penalty. That is fascinating to me.
Yeah, they're like, we like the part of the Bible that says be nice, and then we also like the part that says fucking kill people if they pick and choose out of the Old Testament what they want.
You get cross with me,
like,
it's over.
Them Jews had a couple things right in that Old Testament. I'll tell you that right now. They had a couple things right. We done fixed it up later on, but that old one has still got a couple things worth looking at.
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
You can't kill a baby until it kills somebody. Then we'll kill it. Don't you worry.
That's fucking awesome. So this juror stated a number of times that he could follow the law, but also stated that he was not sure that he could give the death penalty. He was just like a normal person should be. He was like, I don't know. That's pretty heavy to sentence someone to death. I don't know if I could do it or not. So this is basically what they appeal on, is that there's a couple different jurors that are wishy-washy. Now, he also alleges that the trial court erred in overruling a motion for judgment of acquittal on Charles Lewis's murder because he said there was insufficient evidence to prove that he deliberated his death. Well, if you're going there and you're bringing a gun and you're saying we're going to do what we have to do, that's deliberating. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're open to murder.
You fucking negotiated it.
Yeah, you negotiated.
You're part of it.
Yeah, with your kid.
Yeah.
He also objects to the admission of previous crimes. He argues he got arrested for smuggling drug paraphernalia from Belize to the United States at one point, which is So, yeah, well, no, it was a bunch of shit to sell. It was like a shipment of stuff.
Oh.
And so they told the jury that he was convicted of this, and he is arguing the semantics of whether he was like actually smuggling the paraphernalia or not, which means nothing in terms of whether he killed these people and whether they want him to die for it. He also contends that the trial court erred in admitting, over the defense's objection, 7 photographs of the victims, crime scene photographs. Sorry, those go in. They were too gruesome, he said. They had one that depicted a big blue tarpaulin, which the Lewises were wrapped in and buried.
They were still wrapped in it.
They wrapped in it when they buried them. And that depicts the Lewises' bodies after they were recovered. Then they undid the tarp, and there's pictures of them wrapped in plastic wrap, which they also wrapped them in plastic. They'd been in the ground for about a year, so they're pretty decomposed as well. So these pictures are graphic.
Sure.
They said, the court says, quote, although upsetting and unpleasant to view, the photograph showed the condition and location of the Lewis's body and assisted the jury in understanding the pathologist's testimony, which is true. Furthermore, the exhibits tended to corroborate the testimony of Robert Roussan, one of the state's key witnesses with respect to the facts of the case, which is true. This shows, one of the pictures shows a gunshot wound to Mr. Lewis's head, and they said the exhibit was relevant to show the injuries sustained by him because that's backing up their pathologist. The other ones were showing gunshot wounds to Mrs. Lewis, showing that she was shot in the arms, and then later on. So also the garment bag that was over her head, all that's allowed in there. Also, he claims that while he was interviewed, when he confessed in the beginning, he says that the police kept him and he was exhausted because they kept him there without food for a long period of time.
You were there an hour and a half.
He was only in custody for 2.5 hours, and an hour of that was spent eating and getting medical treatment.
Right.
So, sorry.
You got a pedicure and a sandwich, bro. Calm
you're
down.
Fine. Yeah, you practically got recruited to NAMBLA.
You had a pedicure, a sandwich, and you were there long enough to watch Fletch. That's it.
Yeah, sorry. And go, oh, shit. Damn it. I fucked this all up. So he's in prison, and he's still appealing later on. He's got one more thing we'll talk about very briefly. In 2001, Robert Roussan, the brother, is released from prison.
What? How? Why? How? What?
Okay. 1996, he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. In 5 years, he's out of prison.
How did they do that?
5 years, because he testified against his brother and guilt.
That's not enough.
That is not enough.
What
2001.
Yeah.
That is insanity. Especially when you consider you can't have a thing where 3 people went and did something. Right. One of them gets the death penalty and the other one gets 5 years.
Right.
That's not
entirely different.
I don't care who testified. That's crazy. April 22nd, 2014 is the day before the scheduled execution.
Is that guy still out?
Robert's on the streets. He's been out for 18 years now.
Well, he's probably reviolated.
I would assume so. He's somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, so they're going for clemency from the governor at this point. They also have appeals on the table, and this is what we'll talk about in a second, his other appeals. But it's Governor Jay Nixon declines his request for clemency.
Oh my God.
And says that he thought the sentence was appropriate for Williams' alleged role as the mastermind behind the cold-blooded plot that led to the Lewis's slayings. Fair enough. Also, that same day, he's having a bad day here, William. Earlier in the day, the U.S. Supreme Court turns down Williams' request to delay his execution.
Okay.
All the efforts here hinged on the drugs, the execution drugs, as we've talked about 100 times with all these different states. But this was the time when there was a real gray area in what was going on. So Missouri, and a bunch of other states just used a different compound of execution drugs from unnamed pharmacies. This has been going on. Remember the whole thing with the English drugs and all that sort of thing?
We're not telling you shit.
They just said, we got enough drugs to kill them, so we're good.
We're going forward.
The court said, all right, fuck it. You're gone.
Let's do it.
So they do that. The U.S. Supreme Court was trying to kind of stay out of this whole thing and let the states kind of sort out their own death penalty bullshit. A death penalty information center person said, quote, the U.S. Supreme Court really wants to avoid this issue, which it sees as a matter for individual states. But there are basic constitutional issues at play here of due process, and there's a clear contradiction among the rulings handed out at the state level. Then the Supreme Court may have to step in because it was a mess. Yeah. Some states were halting it. Other states were saying, we'll just get shit from wherever. Right. Some state Supreme Courts were saying that's fine, and some were saying it's not fine. There has to be some uniformity to killing people, I feel like. It's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal.
Yeah. In the most powerful and widely viewed as one of the smarter countries, we should probably do this right.
Let's just get it right, or not do it at all. Right. One of the two. So he ends up, everything is a go for his execution. Yeah. He has a last meal.
Oh, yes.
He has a last meal.
Fried chicken.
No.
What does he do?
A bacon cheesemburger.
Not bad.
Beef to the end for this guy.
I like it.
I kill for beef and I die for beef. Bacon cheeseburger, onion rings, goes against fries, goes with the onion rings, and a slice of pecan pie, like every Southern murderer has.
Everybody in Missouri, Alabama, Mississippi, that pecan pie. You betcha.
So they bring him into the chamber.
No special drink?
No special drink, just that. I think it's just water.
I thought it was a root beer.
Wink. Root beer, wank, wank.
Can I get a root beer and a float?
Karen's like, I bet he's drinking root beer. I'm like, Jesus, Karen.
Jesus.
You grim bitch.
How could you do that?
Fucking grim bitch, man. Come on, Karen. There's a reason why we don't invite you to Thanksgiving anymore. You're fucking grim, Karen. Wow.
You wonder why every year we buy you a sickle for Christmas?
It. Grim.
Grim bitch.
We alternate between a sickle and a big robe every year. A big black fucking robe. His last words, he's wheeled out on the gurney, is, quote, my trials and transgressions have been many, but thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I have a new home in his heavenly kingdom. See, that pisses me off. Religion, is not my thing anyway, but that pisses me off to give an asshole like this to actually, if he actually thinks that, for him to actually go out with a warm thought in his heart sucks. Fuck that guy. Without religion, he's like, oh shit, I lived a terrible life and now they're going to fucking kill me. This sucks. Instead, he's like, well, it's all good. New home in my heavenly kingdom. Even though it's not true, he doesn't know that. He might believe it.
Do you think he thinks that the saying is trials and transgressions? Because that's not the saying. Well, it is tribulation, sir.
That would be shit happening to you. Transgressions are things you have done.
That's a good point.
So I think that's him going, I've been a shitty guy, but Jesus don't care.
Listen, I've been on trial.
Jesus loved me anyway.
Was he talking about his trials of like the world trying him?
Yeah, I think so.
Or like all the trials that he's been through? I think it's like my rape, my murder trials, all these trials.
A lot of trials, both literal and figurative. That's what he should have added in there. Now, up to this point, Missouri has executed one death row inmate each month since November of the previous year.
Shit.
So they've been on a roll here.
Get to work, Texas.
And this is in April, and they have another one scheduled for May of that year. Wow. Only Texas, with 7 executions since that time, has more executed inmates than Missouri's 4 in 2014. Florida is also tied for second with 4. So I got to tell you, Missouri, Florida, it's a foot race. You got to keep killing people because Texas has a 3-game lead right now. You're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just telling you that right now. You're going to be short of the playoffs. You're going to be on the outside looking in while Texas takes home the trophy, and they all get big fucking lethal injection rings.
Thinking about next year. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do, Missouri? So, it's the 74th person killed in Missouri, put to death since 1989.
Are they getting him in the town, too?
It's in the same town. It's in Bonne Terre. So it's Bonne Terre.
Bonne Terre.
Only Texas, who has 515 at this point since 1989. Oklahoma, 110. Virginia, 110. And Florida, 85. Have executed more people since the death penalty was re-legalized in 1976.
They have...
That's 1,000 people. Too many.
500 and what?
15.
They are... It's not even close.
Including the mentally challenged and the fucking people whose lawyers fell asleep in court. This is why we're not okay with...
That is dangerous.
I don't like this mess. That's not okay. So, Michael Lewis, finally here after Michael Lewis is the son. He was there to witness the whole thing. William Roussan was mouthing words to his family who was there. His brother-in-law or his brother was there. Not the murderer brother. I think the other brother was there, was mouthing words. And at 12:01, they gave him the injection. By 12:10, he was dead. That was that. Michael Lewis, who is the Lewis's son, said, quote, and this is a very sane. He's a very sane man. We'll put it that way. He's not
Karen at home.
No bloodlust in his heart. Yeah, Karen's not around for this. He says, quote, I draw no real satisfaction from Mr. Roussan's incarceration or execution, for neither can replace or restore the moments lost with my parents or give my sons back the grandparents they never got to know.
Beautiful.
That's how you should feel about shit like this. You shouldn't be like, good, I'm going to piss on his grave. Kill him harder. That's creepy. You're as bad as him then.
Right.
So the Lewises are buried in the Bellefontaine Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri, where they lived for many years before they retired. Both of them are buried there together, obviously. And that is Bonne Terre, Missouri.
My Christ.
And one fucked up tale.
You betcha.
Of insanity.
What
Jesus.
the hell? How do you get there? I just can't get there. I can't.
No.
But I mean, like, the guy's a criminal. He's a criminal, and that's how they think he's preying on something to benefit every day. Anyone
who's convicted of like a rape like that is, you're capable of anything, I feel like, at that point. And at that point, you probably just think, why leave people living?
Right.
They just tell on you. So that's when you start killing.
He really turned bad in 4 months. Getting out on rape charges.
Yeah.
And then it took 4 months for him to go, fuck it, we're killing folks.
Fuck it, we're killing folks. Yeah, and that was the charge. Those were the charges that he was in prison for when he escaped and the Lewises helped him.
Right.
He was released from that. He came back to them and then killed them. This is pretty fucked up. So what that tells you is don't be nice to people.
Yeah.
Ever. The world's a shitty place.
Especially if you catch them hiding in your barn. Call the police.
That's it. The world's a shitty place. Cower behind your bed with a loaded weapon. That's grim, Karen. That's fucking grim. If you like that and you're not Karen, please get on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. Give us a review. 5 stars would be great. Just tell us you're following instructions or directions or whatever. You can do it on any podcast platform you listen to. If it's possible to leave a review, please do it. Help us out. It really helps drive you up the charts. So it's kind of a business thing. So if you could do that. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com. First and foremost, for tickets to the live show in Nashville, April the 14th at Zany's. We are telling you these tickets are going to be gone very soon.
And it's going to be so great.
If you're listening to this a few days after it comes out, they might not. They're probably gone. You can check, but give it a run. They're probably gone. So really, buy those tickets immediately if you want to come to this show. Yeah. You can't wait for that. And we're going to have so much fun.
Absolutely.
We had a blast there last time, and the show we have lined up is a killer, too.
And
you're
it's a comedy festival. There's going to be all kinds of people there.
It's going to be fun. You're going to have all sorts of people to hang out with and meet, and it'll be a good time. So come on down and see us there. No extra charge for a festival. It's a normal price of a ticket. Yeah. So we won't rip you off ever. No. We're going to give you, our goal always with a live show is let's give them more show than they paid for.
Right.
We want people to walk out and go, man, that was a great, I got a deal.
Do we owe them more?
That's what we want.
Do we owe them more?
Literally, that's what we want you to feel like. We don't want you to feel like, nah, or fuck, that was kind of a rip. The good show, but man, that was expensive. No, we want you to be like, fuck, man, I feel bad.
Right.
I feel like I laughed more than I should have for that amount of money. So that's what we do. Come out and see us. Also on the site, get your merchandise, get your t-shirts to wear to the show, leggings, ringtones, available, should be available as you're listening to this. I'm not sure. If they're not, keep checking over the next, because it says it takes 24 to 48 hours to activate. We're in that window.
They don't give you a lot of information on how really difficult that shit is.
It's hard.
That's a nightmare.
It was a pain in the ass. So Small Town Murder theme song and the Crime and Sports theme song are both up right now for ringtones. You can get your merchandise there. You can follow us on social media very easily. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, and at Small Town Pod on Facebook. So follow us up there. That way, when we announce live shows, you won't be left behind.
Right.
Because that's almost half the tickets, or a third of the tickets went because we announced them on social media.
Right.
And, if you weren't following, you wouldn't even know about that. Exactly. You're hearing about it now, and then the tickets are gone already. Right. So follow us on social media. We don't bombard you with bullshit.
No.
We don't post 20 times times a day. We post episodes and maybe one or two things every couple weeks. We don't do much. We won't clog up your feed. So do that. And if you want to be an even bigger hero, one of our goddamn saviors, one of the people we love so much, our producers, who we're going to talk about in just a second here, you can do that excessively easily. And you can even do it right from shutupandgivememurder.com. You can head to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, and listen to Crime in Sports, because if you're not, you're missing out.
You're not going to catch everything.
You're not going to catch it all. And we have to tell you now, we have to give you these producers because they're so awesome and we love them so much. So, Jimmy, I mean, bury me under a pile of manure of producer names. Please hit me with them.
This week's executive producers are Ben Spencer, Cody Beretta, Jason Yoakum, Jennifer Lamb, Candace Kennedy, Howard Wilson, Dane Ford, Paul Powell, Laura Milcherick, and Rob Murray. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do for us. We really appreciate you. Thomas Smith, Matt Dietrich, Sam Wade, Christopher Hart, Hannah Simmons, Erica Teofello, Sarah Davis, Michael Dretz, Michael Deegan, Trey Valkanar. Yeah, Trey. Oh, that's the Valkanar the Third. They call him Trey, kind of like that politician guy. What's his name?
Which one?
Trey. The guy that got voted out. You know what I'm talking about. He's the third. That's why they call him Trey. I get it. I'm on board. Melanie Knights, Bryn Fields, Lance Robillard. Yep.
You said it a bunch of. You had to get it on one of those.
Justin Miller, Durso, Helen, and young man Huxley, Jesse Hartman, Janice Hill, Whitney Leonard, Haley McGivern, Shalima Althouse, James Miller, Kim Jisoo, which sounds like a delicious meal.
That does.
Tina Russell, Macature Workshop, Lisa Coltrane in support of displaced Cubs, Hillary Marsh, Anthony Canella, Jeff Carbonneau, Kelly Jo May, which is easy. That's my mom's name. And not the May part. You get it.
I get you.
Barry with no last name, Gary Howard, Patrick Haggerty, Tiffany Townsend, Kelly Higby, and Michael Head. Thank you. Nicholas Palmero, Chelsea Morgan, Spare Change Inside Ben Cousins. That's fun.
We'll take it.
Sean Ship.
We'll wash it right off and put it with the rest.
Neil Campbell, Tyler Gwill, Michael Giovanetti. Yes. That's probably right.
Giovanetti.
Ashley Boxler. You do it better.
Hey.
Eric
Mikey
Langan.
G, what are you doing? This fucking guy's giving us money. Oh. What's wrong with you? You got better things to do with your fucking money. Give it to us, this fucking guy.
Eric Langenecker, Kimberly J, Peyton Meadows, Lauren Demarath, Phil McCrevis. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Thank you, Bart Simpson.
Steve Schnell, Clay Thorson. He donated twice. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, heavy metal scientist, man.
Kevy Gapner. Yeah, that was Steve. Kevy Gapmeyer, I think. Mary Faust, Sean Loring Smith, Dana Papalia, Sarah Hart, Rachel Meisenheimer, Charlene Ramler, James Stokely, Kelly Thirsk. Damn it. Kelly Thirsk, Jesse Lords, Jeff McAvoy, Thomas Guilmanet. Do this again. Thomas Guilmette.
There we go.
Thomas Bennett. No, Michael Bennett.
Jesus Christ.
Damn. Michael Kennedy, Brendan Abels, Julie Stoltz, Sarah Huskins, Elizabeth Negro, Jamie Loves Jimmy. That's what it is. Rachel Stora, Susan Gable. God, I'm such an idiot. Allison Hutley, Reagan Shalkley, Jackie Edmiston, Oldest Charm, Iron Tree Craftworks. He's a police officer, by the way.
Oh, cool.
And he's fantastic.
Awesome.
He enjoyed your story about wanting to spin around with a nightstick.
It's a fantasy. It has to be. It fucking has to be.
They all want to do it.
How do you not?
At a domestic. They all would love to.
To clear it up in case you didn't hear it, at a domestic where no one is the aggressor, both people are just white trash assholes.
Spin around to beat them
throwing
both.
food at each other and yelling and arguing and wanting the police to intervene and solve it.
Stephen Growney, Kyle Godert, Jesse Herrera, Matt. Okay, this one I wrote out long because I wanted to do it right. Madalena Maria Neva. God damn it. Madalena Maria Neva. Benevento. God damn it, Knight.
That wasn't bad. That was close. You had it close.
Almost. Nancy Graham and Jeff Beck, you guys are the goddamn best. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. You guys are the best, most amazing people, and we can't thank you for enough for everything you do for us. The stuff you send to us, and just words of encouragement.
It's so goddamn funny.
And money you give us, and we just thank you guys for being there for us, and we can't wait to thank you guys at the live show, so please come out to that. And Jimmy, what if they wanted to thank you before the live show? How could they do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And again, I don't want to push too many posts or tweets. Or I try my best not to tweet too much, but I love hearing from you guys, and I look at every tweet. I let you know that I saw it one way or another.
Yeah, we'll like it.
I do my best to make sure that you guys know that I see what you sent. So thank you very, very much. Where can they tell you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or copy and paste my last name from the show description so you don't get all confused with vowels that should be other ways around and things like that.
I picked up the mail, and the guy dropping the mail guy, he gives me an envelope, and he goes, James P. And I go, Pico de guy.
Yeah, just give me it. Whatever.
Just hand it over.
Fine.
That's my guy.
That's what happens. So if you're that person that just goes, oh, fuck. Just copy and paste from the show description.
Just abandon ship.
Find me there, and I definitely won't clog up your feed. I'll retweet and post episodes, and then I will, every once in a while, if I'm really angry at something, I'll say it. But other than that, I'm not going to be like, hey, look at this article, this puppy that's covered in soap suds. I never do that. So you can definitely.
I love watching them, though.
Well, yeah. I won't clog your feed with that shit, though. So follow us there. And that said, guys, crazy episode. Thank you guys for everything. And man, this is it's been interesting. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back.
Do it.
That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure, yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code smalltownmurder at checkout. That's smalltownmurder at hero.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it, and get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.